the field still says summer in Central Texas. We might push into the 90s today. The Big 12 race itself is red hot and wide open as Kansas State and Baylor get set for a high-stakes clash on the banks of the Brazos. Check him out, Dylan Edwards. He turned the power back on last week for the Wildcats. We'll see what he can do today. He is electric. Meantime, a West Texas gunslinger. Sawyer Robertson's video game numbers are actually real. They've established him as one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Welcome inside, everybody. Pete Souza alongside the 10-year NFL veteran, Lee J. Douzable. Partner, we know there's going to be explosion in this game. We just told you about two guys who are going to do it. But this is going to be physical, too.
Yeah, I think this is a conference game. Both of these teams already have a conference loss. This game will have major ramifications in the standings in the Big 12. You talked about a conference game. It's going to be physical, tough. I can't wait to see this game because these teams are going to battle today.
Yeah, we can't wait to see the power, but we also get to see the pop. Dylan Edwards, man, that guy is pop.
He brought the electricity to this Kansas State offense last week versus UCF, and we're going to break down some film. They want to get him out on the perimeter. You see him right here? He's out at receiver, speed, sweep. I highlighted the safety because he's in no man's land. The linebacker gets caught inside. He's in no man's land, and if you give Dylan Edwards the edge, this is what he does. 11 yards, and he almost broke that tackle and went to the house. Right here, simple split zone. The zone blocking to the right, you bring the tight end back across. We highlighted number 0, the linebacker, because he decides to trigger into that B gap. What Dylan Edwards does, once he triggers, one cut, get downhill. And this is the explosion you talked about, Pete. He splits the corner and the safety right there. 75 yards to the house. You talked about being explosive. He brought it last week.
Yeah, he did bring it last week to the tune of 166 yards on the ground, 1 touchdown, averaging over 8 yards a clip. Now, if he is fire, Sawyer Robertson, that is ice.
I mean, plays with so much calm and poise in the pocket, has pocket awareness, can manipulate the defense. You see the numbers right there, 3+ passing touchdowns in his first 5 games. He's the first quarterback since the #1 overall pick, Kyler Murray, to do that, and he did it 8 straight times. Sawyer Robertson, there's a reason why everybody is hyping up his name. He's a big-time quarterback, one of the best in the nation.
And there's a reason why this place is hype right now. Baylor won the toss. Kansas State is set to receive. Let's get it down to the third member of our team, Tori Petrie.
Well, Pete, this will be the healthiest the K-State offense has been all season. They are getting wide receiver Jace Brown back in the lineup today and wide receiver J.B. Bradley. Now, Bradley does have a cast on his left wrist. Coaches say he is a tough kid. He wants to play today. And I can tell you, I saw him catching passes in warm-ups with that cast, so they're going to see how much he can do today. This is going to be the first time K-State has had one of those guys, let alone both, on the field at the same time as running back Dylan Edwards. Offensive coordinator Chris Wells told me it's about time.
Thanks a lot, Tori. Tripped up close to the line of scrimmage is Dylan Edwards. He is one of the 4 horsemen Tori just mentioned that are back healthy today for Kansas State.
And that's massive, right? Getting Jace Brown back. He's their best explosive weapon on the outside. Big JB standing at 6'5". He's a big target on the outside. As coaching staff said, we haven't had all our playmakers together since about the first game, the first quarter in the game versus Iowa State. So I know they're excited to get everybody back. That will really help their quarterback, Avery Johnson.
Pre-snap motion from Anzio, 2nd and long. Johnson pumps, delivers. Garrett Oakley with his first catch of the day, close to the first down marker. We'll play about a yard short after an 8-yard gain.
Nice patience right there from Avery Johnson. Goes through his progression, starts to the right, then goes to the left. Nice job by the tight end, just spotting over the middle of the field. That linebacker triggers, there's a void there. Nice accurate throw by Avery Johnson.
So you see Avery Johnson. To the bottom of your screen is Jace Brown. Blanketed right now by number 27, Tevin Williams. Edwards again. Slices towards daylight. He's met by Williams after a first down.
It's a nice, tough, physical run. Dylan Edwards isn't the biggest guy, right? He's 5'9", 175 pounds. He can run in between the tackles as well. He does a nice job on that power play. Just getting north and south and picking up that first down.
You know, those numbers we see right now for Avery Johnson last week, you could almost attribute them to Dylan Edwards being back against UCF. Avery Johnson was playing fast and free, and that's how he needs to be.
Offensive coordinator Matt Wells talked about it. Getting Dylan Edwards in there opened up the offense, and it made Avery Johnson be a little bit more decisive. Not just throwing the ball, but running it as well.
Joe Jackson in the game as a running back. Maybe lost 2.
Nice job by the defensive front right there. Devontae Tesno does a nice job. The big man in the middle getting off the block, getting in the backfield, and tackling Avery Johnson for a loss.
Empty backfield. 2nd and long once again for the Wildcats. Johnson floats it. Joe Jackson with the catch. Close to a first down. It's his birthday today. So there you go. His first present is a 13-yard reception thanks to Avery Johnson.
Nice play design right there by Matt Wells. They go empty. They bring Joe Jackson out of the backfield to the right. They push the 2 receivers up to the right. He comes underneath one-on-one. The linebacker gets out leveraged and gets an explosive catch and run.
Jackson will stay in the football game. Johnson hands to him again. He finds the crease, breaks into the secondary. Redding throws him down, but not before another Kansas State first down, 11 yards.
Yeah, all right, we got a nice little split zone. You got the offensive line. They're blocking to the right. Nice job by the running back getting downhill. See it right here. Nice job by number 69, Taylor Portier. He creates that hole. And Joe Jackson, no fair dodging, just getting downhill, getting a big run.
Five wide, 1st and 10. Johnson, quick pass. 3rd straight touch for Jackson. 3rd straight productive touch for Jackson before Tyler Turner throws him down.
And I love that Matt Wells is mixing up personnel and formations, right? That's the 2nd time we've seen them go empty with Joe Jackson, just getting him the ball in space right there. They got the number count they wanted on the outside. They had 2 blockers for 2 defenders. They throw the simple screen play. They just want to stay ahead of the chains. That's a nice job by Avery Johnson, getting it to his running back out in space.
Jackson again, surging ahead. Gang tackled at the 36-yard line. Tyler Turner again in on it.
And if you're offensive coordinator Matt Wells and head coach Chris Kleiman, run is up right here, right? Because you're in plus territory. You're in that no man's land in regards to potentially kicking a field goal. Luis Rodriguez has been really good. He's hit a 51-yarder already this year. But I would not be surprised this is a scenario where they have 2 plays to get the first down. So run could be up depending on what the Baylor Bears come out and their look on defense.
Just 1 play so far on this drive for Dylan Edwards. Empty backfield once again on a critical 3rd down. Johnson wings it to Oakley. Oakley's cut down by Devin Bobby, but another first down for the Kansas State Wildcats.
And what I really loved about that, Matt Wells had all the routes go to the sticks, to the first down marker. No down the field things. Nice job again. Nice patience by Avery Johnson. You see him look to the left, look to the right, find his tight end, Oakley in the void for a major first down.
All right, Lejay, it's close to 90 degrees, right? You're a defensive lineman,
yep.
And this is the 10th play of the opening drive. How you doing?
Your tongue's hanging out right now, right? And if you're the Baylor Bears, this is where you got to have the subsequent depth to rotate and get after the passer. But you got to bow up, right? You're right outside the red zone. You got to try to hold Kansas State to a field goal attempt.
Johnson, the seas part. The first punch delivered by Kansas State. 6-0, 31 yards for Avery Johnson.
And the big boys up front doing the dirty work, blocking on that draw. That's a nice job, again, by Matt Wells. He decides to spread it out, which means the linebackers have to leave in the middle of the field, right? We have a nice job by these 2 blocking, and he gets Avery Johnson in his A-gap downhill for a touchdown run. Right there, you see it right there. He reads it. Nice drop stop, takes off. Nobody's in the middle of the field, Pete. Wide open. We talked about getting him going early. He's played with a lot of confidence in that first drive. Also, nice play call by offensive coordinator Matt Wells.
You know, it's interesting. I know we both saw last week against UCF, his first run that popped for about 31 yards was similar, but it looked like that one was designed.
For sure, that was definitely designed, and that's what got them going last week, using his mobility. And this is a nice job again. Avery Johnson, nice job by the offensive line up front. Avery Johnson getting the Wildcats on the board early in this one.
You're watching the Big 12 on ESPN. Gorgeous Cameron Park here in Waco, Texas. Not a gorgeous start for the Bears as Kansas State goes right down the field and takes it to them 7-0. Jaden Porter and Cole Wilson back deep for Baylor. Oh, getting away from Cole Wilson. He could be in trouble. Wrapped up close to the 20-yard line. Flag on the play. And there is Sawyer Robertson. So cool, so calm under pressure, and that has led to that moxie and that determination. Being one of the best quarterbacks in the country, leads the country in yards, leads the country in passing touchdowns. This is a guy that everybody in the country should be talking about.
Without a doubt, Pete. We talked about in the intro his poise in the pocket, his ability to go through progressions.
That's a brutal penalty. Face mask.
Yeah, but getting back to Sawyer Robertson, you saw the graphic right there. Leads the nation in pass yards per game, also touchdown passes. He's a guy that distributes the ball, and I think that's the biggest thing. We're talking to the coaches, Dave Aranda. He said he felt last year he was kind of honing in on a couple of receivers. Now, whoever's open is getting the football. He's a great distributor of the football.
And when you couple that with that howitzer of an arm he has, that is a real dangerous combination.
Literally can put the ball anywhere on the field. When you turn on this tape, it's littered with NFL throws.
So the field position for Baylor to start their first drive is less than desirable. We'll call it the 11-yard line. Officials still talking it over. If you're just joining us, Kansas State marches right down the field on their first drive, and they score on a touchdown from Avery Johnson, and there is Dave Aranda. Cannot love the start for his defense, but that's the way it's been so far for Baylor.
Yeah, they've really struggled on that side of the ball. They've never put a complete game together. They either play one good half and not so good a first half. And you know he doesn't like how they started off this game so far on defense.
Motion. Here's Bryson Washington dragging tacklers with him across the 15. That's his MO.
Yeah, and we started this game talking about how explosive this is going to be, but that's their bread and butter. The split zone play. Like Bryson Washington hits you with body blows, and then he breaks off a 20, 25-yard run.
Here's that tempo from Baylor. Ranked 5th in the country for amount of seconds in between plays, just over 22. Josh Cameron, his first catch, drags tacklers with him to the 30-yard line, 14-yard gain.
Nice read by Sawyer Robinson right there, RPO. You can give the ball to Washington on a zone play, but he sees that Josh Cameron has off coverage. Throws a quick stick route to him and goes for 14 yards.
Cameron again. Close to another first down. Deshaun Rich on the tackle.
One thing you know about Sawyer Robinson is he's not going to go broke taking a profit. If the first read is open, he's getting that ball out of his hand. You see it right there on a quick out route to his big receiver, Josh Cameron.
Washington again was dinged up last week, and he wouldn't have it any other way. Right back out on the field, was on the injury list pretty much for the most part of the week, and here he is once again doing what Bryson Washington does.
He's been dinged up the entire season. I remember calling their Samford game a few weeks ago, and there was times where he got hit. I didn't think he was going to get back up, but he keeps continuing to play and fight for this team.
492 yards, 10th in the FBS, and also his carries, 93, that's 10th in the FBS. So he's been carrying a load and does it again. Johnson knocks him down, but Washington, another first down, an 18-yard gain.
Nice job by number 66, Colton Siraki, who's starting for Omar Ibidian. You're going to see it to the left of your screen. He gets GD Obiazor caved in. And that's a nice run by Bryson Washington, also breaking the tackle there.
Play fake. Robertson steps up in the pocket that is formed by his offensive line. Looks for Michael Trigg as it sails over his head.
Yeah, his big playmaker on the outside. Trigg standing at 6'4". They'll throw those jump balls to him, and also Josh Cameron, who stands at 6'2". Right there, just puts a little bit too much air on that, and it goes out of bounds.
Brings up 2nd and long. Defensive coordinator for Kansas State, Joe Klanderman, says they like this because Baylor's not quite as quick when they're 2nd and 3rd and long.
He's like, that's where we have to get them. We got to get them in 2nd and 8 plus. We got to get them in 3rd and long. That way they have to, you know, talk about things at the line of scrimmage, and they can't go hurry up tempo.
Pocket forms around Robertson again. This time he gets it to Trigg. Logan Bartley, the freshman, takes him down. It'll be a first down, a 10-yard gain.
Yeah, nice job by Trigg. Just understanding zone coverage, understanding the leverage, the void. He hooks up with his quarterback. That's his safety blanket. They work really well together for zone coverage.
Robertson checks the play. Caden Knight, here's his first crack at it. Running to daylight. More positive yardage for Baylor. Travis Bates on the stop.
Yeah, that's a nice job by the Kansas State Wildcat defense. Everybody doing their job. Simple split zone. Caden Knight has been known to bounce things out, but they had leverage right there, right? They did not let him get to the outside. He had to cut back inside, and everybody came to the party to tackle him for a small gain.
See Robertson and Caden Knight once again in the backfield. Under pressure, Ashton Hawkins. Hawkins escapes a few tacklers, takes it down to the 16-yard line. There's a flag on the play. Check that, player is down after a 12-yard gain.
I mean, what a move by Ashton Hawkins. Watch this, step in, step out. Has two defenders run into each other. It's a nice job also by Sawyer Robinson going through his progressions. He started off right, then he finds Hawkins coming across on that drag route. But yeah, like you said, Pete, somebody's down right now.
So Justice Clemens knocked right into Amarian Fortenberry, a little friendly fire. And we've got Clemens down. We will update you on the injury when we come back. So Justice Clemens was able to walk off under his own power and is now in the concussion tent. Good sign, though, him walking off. And a good sign now for both quarterbacks. And if you like the quarterback club in the Big 12, as I know they do, Avery Johnson, 4 of 4, 29 yards, a rushing touchdown. Sawyer Robertson, 4 of 5, 45 yards. This guy's looking pretty good.
Playing efficient football, both quarterbacks being very decisive, knowing exactly where to go with the football.
Bryson Washington back in the game. Motion from Josh Cameron already with 2 catches today on this drive. 10th play of the drive. Washington so good at using his blockers and just moving forward, but stacked up there for a short game.
And this is the big thing that Coach Klanderman, the defensive coordinator for Kansas State, talked about, right? We got to get guys to the ball in bunches because Bryson Washington, who seems like he's down right now, which is unfortunate for the Baylor offense, that he runs so extremely hard that he usually makes the first guy miss. But the biggest concern right now is Bryson Washington being down on the ground.
6-foot sophomore from about an hour away in Franklin, Texas. We talked to Coach Jake Spavital, the offensive coordinator for Baylor yesterday. He said when he sees B. Wash go down, he's worried because he knows he quite possibly could really be hurt. He's not like other guys.
He's fought through so much already this season. To your point, Pete, like when he's getting up slow, you know something's really wrong with him. And they've had to lean on some of these younger backs, Caden Knight, who we've already seen in this game, and Michael Turner. But I know Sawyer Robinson gets his name in the paper, but literally the offense just kind of ran through what Bryson Washington does in between those tackles.
Well, we talked about it. Another thing we talked about yesterday, 150-plus yards. When Baylor does that, since the beginning of last year, they're 10-1. Caden Knight into the ball game now. Robertson has time. Underneath again, it's Josh Cameron. Ridden to the ground by Rich. And Cameron now is slow to get up.
And again, this is not what you want to see if you're a Baylor Bears, right? Those are two of your better playmakers on offense. Josh Cameron, your #1 receiver on the outside, and then your starting running back. And back-to-back plays have gone down.
Third catch of the drive for Josh Cameron. Let's take a look.
Yeah, Sawyer Robertson just finds him on a simple drag route coming from right to left. Maybe right there, that right ankle kind of gets caught up. Again, don't want to speculate, but it looks like it got caught up a little bit. But Josh Cameron's a tough kid, former walk-on who's become a captain on this team, a guy that they really look up to, a guy that they look to make plays on the offensive side. So just like Bryson Washington, if he's down, it's something serious, but it was good to see him get to the sideline pretty quickly.
Was a part of 3 turnovers in their last home loss against Arizona State, which has never happened. And Coach Spav told us, Jake Spavital, he could not wait for that next game against Oklahoma State. Michael Trigg in motion. Oh, Caden Knighton is stacked up behind the line of scrimmage. Toby Osunsami says hello.
And he's their best pass rusher. He does a nice job knifing right there. He's on the outside. He knifes into the B gap in between the tackle and the guards. You're going to see him to the right of your screen. See how he loops around? That's a run stunt, right? And Coach Dave Aranda talked about that. We have to pick up the run stunts right there. You see the quickness of Toby Osunsami getting a tackle for loss and getting a Wildcat defense off the field.
30-yard attempt coming for Connor Hawkins. 5 of 6 on the season. Splits the uprights. So the Bears answer but melt under the hot glare of the Kansas State end zone. Back in Waco, Pete Souza alongside Leger Douzable. It is time for the do's and don'ts for today's game.
Yeah, the do's for the Kansas State offense: get Avery Johnson going early, run and pass. Johnson had his best game of the season last week versus UCF. Not only throwing the ball, but running it as well. They have to get him in a rhythm early. And don't for the Baylor defense, don't allow Dylan Edwards to get to the perimeter. Edwards is Kansas State's most explosive player. They want to get him on the perimeter to use that explosive ability. Baylor cannot allow that.
Ellison takes it deep in the end zone, takes it out of the end zone, crosses the 20, and is knocked out of bounds at the 30. Armstrong knocks him out of bounds. Flag down. Another opportunity to hear from referee Kevin Moore.
During the return, illegal block in the back. During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 91. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And here comes Avery Johnson back onto the field. 4 of 4 today, 29 yards. And we were told about this by Matt Wells. He has been more decisive this season, and we saw it on this drive.
Yeah, right here, getting them going early, right? That was the dudes for the Kansas State offense. You saw it right there. They motioned Joe Jackson, get him a quick drag route, and then right there, the quarterback draw. Getting the mobile quarterback's legs involved in this game.
Into the game right now is Blake Barnett. Was featured last week. Avery Johnson at the bottom of your screen. Ball's loose. Barnett picks it up. Finally ushered out of bounds.
And Pete, right here at the mesh point, right? He's trying to pull that ball as the speed sweep's coming. Him and the receiver are not on the same page. Unfortunately for him, he was able to get on the ball and only hold it to a minimal loss.
You chalk that up to reps between Devon Rice, quite possibly, and Blake Barnett?
Yes, it's understanding at the mesh point. If the quarterback, you have to be firm and pull that ball out. Looks like the receiver in motion really had a grasp of the football there.
Avery Johnson in motion. You won't say that every day. And Joe Jackson moved back deep into the backfield, loses 3 yards.
And if you're Kansas State, you don't want to be in this scenario, right? Losses on the first 2 plays, right? You want to play ahead of the sticks. That's why they had so much success, Pete, on that first drive. They played ahead of the chains. You get a mesh issue with the quarterback and the speed sweep, and they're right there. Try to have some eye candy with Avery Johnson coming in motion. The Baylor defense does a really good job mitigating that for a loss. Now, this Baylor defense can really pin their ears back and get after the quarterback.
3rd and 15. Dylan Edwards not on the field again. It only played the game's first 2 snaps. Johnson uncorks down the sideline, and a brilliant play made right there on the scene. And you have to give a lot of credit to LeVar Thornton.
And they are happy to have this young man back. This is a nice job. This is a cover 3 defense, 3 deep, 4 underneath. You're going to see him. He has to take Jace Brown on this go route. He's in the hip pocket, in phase. Watch how he lifts with that left arm and knocks the football away. That 6'3" frame, 182 pounds. That extra arm length right there helped him on that play to get that PBU and get the Baylor Bears off the field.
The Ohio State transfer Thornton making his presence felt early. That was a huge play. Oh, wow, a favorable bounce for Baylor. Here comes the Bears offense, and they will have an opportunity to take advantage of their best field position of the early afternoon.
And if you're head coach Dave Aranda from Baylor, you have to love how your defense responded after giving up an opening drive score, right? They go 3 and out, and now not only that, you give the ball to your offense in plus territory because of a shank punt.
30-yard punt.
Don't be surprised if offensive coordinator Jake Spavital takes a shot right here, right? You're in plus territory, right around the 40. This would be a perfect position to go play action pass and take a shot down the field.
True freshman Michael Turner into the game for Baylor, aligned to the left of Sawyer Robertson. Robertson floats it down the left side. Cole Wilson had a shot at it, but right there to break it up was Quay Moss.
And Quay Moss has played some really good football the last couple of weeks. We talked to his defensive coordinator, Joe Clanderman. You see him in phase right here. Does a nice job. Doesn't get his head around, but he doesn't really interfere with the catch. That's a nice job. They said that he's probably the most passionate player on this defense. A transfer that came in this year that's really bought into the culture.
Loves the game. That's what Coach Kleiman told us. Turner spins to positive yardage, close to a first down at the 30. VJ Payne stops him.
And Pete, when you look at these 2 running backs, right, Caden Knighton's more of that explosive back, but Michael Turner, 6 foot, 220 pounds, he's going to get downhill. You see him evade a defender right there and then hit a spin move to get a couple extra yards.
3rd and 4. Austin Romaine, the anchor of that defense, barking out signals to his cohorts. Cameron grabs it, shoestring catch, looks like for now. Officials say he did catch it. Baylor in the red zone.
I mean, Pete, that's a heck of a hands catch because that ball was low and away. That was a nice throw by Sawyer. He knew the leverage was inside, throw it outside, but it was so low. I mean, if he plucked that off the ground, what a hands catch by Josh Cameron. He literally plucked that off the ground.
Yeah, so even better news for Baylor fans, he's okay.
Yes, he's back in the game.
Robertson could make a sandwich. Oh, decides to dine out with Michael Turner, who was knocked down by Moss.
And right there, Sawyer Robinson missed Josh Cameron on the post route for a touchdown. He did a nice job of, you're going to see it right here. Josh Cameron's going to run this post. He's trying to hold this safety. Once he comes down, he's wide open. Let it go. He gets off of it, throws it to the check down. A nice job by the Wildcats rallying right there.
And we appreciate that we don't even have to see your real handwriting there. Robertson. Wilson almost intercepted. It was intercepted. Daniel Cobbs comes through in the clutch.
Rolling on the field with an interception. First down, Kansas State.
What a play by Daniel Cobbs. They try to switch release, and they throw the wheel route behind it. He does a nice job getting through the traffic and getting over the top. High pinpointing that football. You're going to see it. He's coming from the left of your screen. You don't even see him. He does a nice job tracking the football. And Cole Wilson does everything he can to try to knock it out of his hands, but that's a nice catch by Daniel Cobbs, tracking that football, getting over the top, over the pick route to come away with a big turnover for the Wildcats.
All right, so here's my question for you. Natural curiosity, that Robertson threw that, what you could call a poor pass where Cameron bailed him out. Then he kind of set Michael Turner up right behind the line of scrimmage where he missed the post, and then he throws the pick.
Yeah.
Is Joe Klanderman doing something different that's got him off his mark?
I think for right now, Sawyer Robertson on that last drive just missed some throws, right? He missed the opportunity to find Josh Cameron. That one, he thought that he had the leverage on the safety, but he didn't, because Cobb does a really good job getting over the top. That's supposed to be a natural pick where you have a guy underneath and then you want to wheel out around. What he did is he gave some space so his defender could get underneath and he could stay over the top. So that right there is essentially a 50-50 jump ball that Daniel Cobb just ended up winning and outplaying Cole Wilson on.
And you're throwing a 50-50 jump ball to a guy in Cole Wilson who has been electric this year but stands at 5'9".
Yeah, to me, that was a predetermined throw based off of what they were doing on offense with the natural rub route. And Cobbs, again, does a really good job getting over the trash, getting over the top, and coming down with that interception.
Cobbs back close to home here in Texas, a Fort Worth native. Tyler Junior College, and then made his way to Kansas State. Still no Dylan Edwards. Joe Jackson in the backfield, standing alongside Avery Johnson in the end zone. Jackson, a lot of room. Jacob Redding comes up and makes the stop.
And that's the difference between Joe Jackson and Dylan Edwards. Joe Jackson is 6 foot, 212 pounds. He's going to get downhill in the hurry. He's not going to wait to set up things as much. He does a nice job of getting to the right of his offensive line and creating space to get him back off that goal line.
So that'll do it for a first quarter that delivered the goods. We were ready for an exciting game. My man, we got one.
It's definitely been exciting. Both defenses have made plays. Kansas State comes away with a big turnover. Let's see if this Baylor Bear defense can get the ball back to their high potent offense.
7-3 right now. Josh Cameron has been a force for Baylor, but Avery Johnson got the Wildcats on the board with 6 early. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Central Texas. The Bears faithful bouncing a little bit now. Pushing 90 degrees here in Waco. Hydration, that had to start way early in the week. Chris Kleiman told us. His team, though, has responded. Up 7-3 as we start the second quarter with a 2nd and 1. Joe Jackson again. Burrows into the line of scrimmage, takes it across the 15. LeVar Thornton in on the tackle. First down.
And Joe, we talked about it. We haven't seen Dylan Edwards in a while, but the thing about Joe Jackson, again, 6 foot, 212 pounds, he's going to get downhill in a hurry. And if you're head coach Chris Kleiman, you kind of like that, right? Because you want to be the tougher team. You're going to be able to establish dominance in the trenches with Joe Jackson running north and south. Blake
Barnett back into the football game. Avery Johnson stays in. He has not left the field one time this season when Barnett has come in. Here he is in motion. Barnett fakes to him. He invites contact. Coach Matt Wells told us, and we saw it there. Tackled by Jacob Redding.
And that's a nice fill right there by Jacob Redding, the former walk-on, who's really worked his way up the depth chart and become one of the better defensive players on this team. He talked about it. We actually sat down and talked about that with him, about the Baylor defense, understanding their leverage, understanding being disciplined, doing your job. Right there, he does a good job getting down and hitting Blake Barnett for a small gain.
Dylan Edwards now back into the football game. He motions out, and Johnson locks in on Ancio, who had a touchdown last week, thrown out of bounds after a short game.
I like that throw from Avery Johnson. You just want to cut 3rd down in half, right? You just want to get 4 or 5 yards there, make it a manageable 3rd down, because they've had a lot of success on some of these quick routes going to the sticks on 3rd down.
3rd and 6. As of right now, the backfield is empty. 2 for 3 on 3rd down this afternoon for the Wildcats. Jackson joins Johnson back there. Coming up to make a nice play is Thornton Jr. again, close to a first down, but didn't get it.
And I love that from Dave Aranda because they show man coverage. Once Joe Jackson goes into the backfield, you see number 45, Kylan Reed. He comes back. That lets you know it's man coverage, but it isn't man coverage. It's cover 2, and right there, that was a cloud cover corner. LeVar Thornton does a nice job selling man coverage, coming downhill in the flat and making that play to get the Baylor Bears defense off the field.
Thornton with 3 tackles and that huge pass breakup. Josh Cameron is deep. Oh, and another undesirable punt for Kansas State. Simon McClanahan has been phenomenal all year long, but today, less than desirable. A 34-yard punt follows his first one, which was 30. Once again, Lige Douzable with the do's and don'ts.
For the Baylor offense, the do's get Bryson Washington going in the run game. This Kansas State defense has struggled to slow down the run, more specifically the zone run, which Baylor runs. And for the don't for Kansas State, don't allow the explosive play. Baylor has one of the most explosive offenses in the nation. You have to minimize their explosive playability.
I could use like a do's and don'ts for my daily life.
I love that.
You got to wake up early, Pete. Oh. In coverage was Payne. Working on Trigg, worked a little too hard.
Yeah, a little slot fade to the big tight end, 6'4", hand fighting. BJ Payne gets a little too handsy there.
Pass interference, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So already a couple targets for Trigg and 1 catch.
And he's so physically imposing that he can just go up and essentially dunk on smaller defenders. And you see right there, BJ Payne is giving up about 1 or 2 inches and about 20 pounds. He's trying to hand fight him. And nice job by Trigg working back to the ball to create that PI.
Here's Bryson Washington, a good sign for Baylor fans, seeing him back in the game and getting a carry, but is knocked down to the ground by Thomas.
It's a nice physical tackle by Thomas coming down from the safety position right there.
Second and long. Robertson coming off a drive where he had a rough go at it. Was off cue a couple times, including his interception to Cobbs. Here he is running out of trouble. People have wanted to see him do more of this season.
And Pete, I'm so glad you brought that up because I've been wanting him to do it more. He has mobility. He had a zone run touchdown versus Oklahoma State. Nice job by Kansas State and defense. Nobody's open. They give up contain on the edge. Watch him get to the edge and pick up a lot of yards to make this a manageable third down. And Pete, this is where they like to run the football as well. Plus 50, they can get 3 or 4 yards here or 3 yards. They'll go for it on 4th down.
Washington catching bodies. Spinning out of traffic, loses the football. Payne hopped on it, and eventually Newsome grabbed it. What do the officials say? Kansas State football.
Rolling on the field was a fumble recovered by Kansas State. First down.
What a job by this Kansas State defense. You get an explosive run from Bryson Washington, but he puts the ball on the ground. You're going to see here, 3rd and 4, split zone, breaks 1 tackle, breaks another. Nice job ripping the football away right there. I believe that's number 3, Maldonado. Big turnover for this Kansas State Wildcat defense.
Well, yesterday, Dave Aranda told us that Baylor couldn't beat themselves, right? 2 turnovers in the first quarter and a half is beating yourself.
And that's been the difference in this game, right? Kansas State defense has been very opportunistic in regards to turning the football over. On the season, Baylor is -3, and today they're -2. You see the graphic right there.
Play fake. Oh, look at this. Avery Johnson escapes out of trouble and slides down close to the first down. Those flowing locks, dude, and then that slide right there, just that whole look, he should trademark that.
Look real smooth right there, but that was a nice job by him going through his progression. Gets some pressure up the middle, steps up into the pocket, sees that they're dropping off in zone, just getting some positive yardage. I love that he was decisive right there with his legs.
Here's Edwards in motion. Has been quiet today after a 166-yard outburst on the ground last week against UCF. Johnson works to get him involved, but he's cut down behind the line of scrimmage by Simpkins.
It's a nice job by Williford right there, number 18, Caldre, who's played a lot more with the injury to LeVar Thornton. Now that Thornton's back, they're able to play both of those guys. He does a nice job on that screenplay, beating the block to the outside and getting Dylan Edwards down for a loss.
And we talked about it during the break. You mentioned it to me. Hey, it's ironic. Baylor's defense has been playing well today.
Yeah, and the thing is, Dave Aranda told us he wants to make Avery Johnson throw in man coverage, tight windows throws. He's had a lot of success with zone. Let's see if they go some man here.
Oakley stacked up. This time it is Simpkins.
That's a nice job by the nickel corner. He plays the nickel slot position. Again, they try to switch release. He gets outside of that receiver and gets the tight end down before he can pick up the first down. That's similar plays that Kansas State ran on back-to-back third down that Baylor was ready for in zone coverage, and they get off the field.
Josh Cameron back deep to return another punt. McLennan, wow, that was almost blocked. Cameron calls for the fair catch and grabs it. Amarian Winston almost got a finger on that. Officially, it's a 43-yard punt. The banks of the Brazos River on a beautiful day here. Big 12.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle.
Well, you can chalk this up to things that hardly ever happen. We just saw on the last possession Baylor had, second fumble of the season for Washington, and then Sawyer Robertson on the previous drive throws his fourth interception of the year.
Sawyer Robertson with a predetermined throw kind of gets confused by the coverage of Kansas State, throws up an interception. You talked about it, Bryson Washington, as hard as he runs, he rarely fumbles the ball. So let's see if this Baylor offense can get going, because they have been one of the more explosive offenses in football, but they've struggled today.
Robertson, play manufactured for Trigg, and why not? First down. Pushed out of bounds by Wesley Fair.
And I love that call by Coach Spav, right? Just get an easy throw for your quarterback, get his confidence back up. Why not go to your big tight end on the outside, who's one of their better playmakers?
Third catch of the afternoon for Trigg. Bryson Washington spinning out of trouble after the fumble, no problem, 14 yards.
It's a nice job by the left side of the offensive line. Ryan Lingel and also Sidney Fugar, 62 and 69, do a nice job working to the next level. Nice physical run by Bryson Washington.
And a nice tackle by Moss, really, to get him down, because if he broke free from that, it could have gotten ugly. True freshman Cade Knight in the backfield. Play fake to him. Robertson under trouble, somehow escapes. Whips it to Knighton. How about that Houdiniac from Sawyer Robertson? 15 yards.
I mean, what a play by Sawyer Robertson. You're going to see this pressure right up the middle. I believe that's Malcolm Alcorn Crowder. He ducks up under that, and then look at it. Eyes are always down the field. Off platform throw to Caden Knighton. He had one like that versus Oklahoma State last week. That's a nice job by the quarterback, understanding the pressure, ducking up under it, but then keeping your eyes down the field.
9 of 12, 86 yards, and the one miscue. Oh, no miscue there. Touchdown, Kobe Prentice. His 6th of the year. Yeah, only 17 catches.
All he does is catch touchdowns. And this is a great job by Sawyer Robinson, right? Looking off the safety and then throwing a dot down the seam to his receiver, Kobe Prentice. You're going to see it right here. He's going to run this downhill. You're going to get Josh Cameron coming out here, and he splits the two guys and hits them down the middle. You're going to see the safety rotate over. It's a nice job. See how he looks left, buys the safety, and then splits the linebacker in safety for a touchdown. I mean, nice job manipulating the defense, looking to the left because he knew he wanted to go back right.
Joe Klanderman, you have seen this before, by the way. Kansas State's defensive coordinator in 2022 in the Sugar Bowl. Prentice had a 47-yard touchdown for Alabama against Kansas State.
All he does is catch touchdowns. Kobe Prentice in the end zone, getting the Baylor Bears rolling.
Four plays, 70 yards, over 1 minute and 31 seconds. Baylor's first touchdown drive of the day gives them a 10-7 lead.
And Sawyer Robinson was big on that drive, understanding how to manipulate the defense, find his receiver, Kobe Prentice, for a big-time touchdown. We were wondering when this offense would start getting going. They got going on that last drive.
Elston grabs it off a hop. Been a long day for him returning kicks. Let's get it down to the third member of our team, Tori Petrie.
Well, guys, running back Dylan Edwards has been frustrated down here on the sidelines. They haven't had him playing every offensive snap, but he did get in for 2 plays on that last drive, and they weren't able to convert. His childhood friend and teammate kind of took him by the helmet. Avery Johnson did to encourage him a little bit, but still Edwards came down to the sideline and kind of shoved his helmet into the ground in frustration, unhappy about what he could make of the opportunities he has gotten.
That's great intel, Tori. Thanks a lot. Close to the line of scrimmage. Baylor's front getting the job done.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, Pete, because they've played really good football. Devontae Tesno does a really good job. Again, getting off the block. That's the second time he's gotten in the backfield and stopped Dylan Edwards before he could get his momentum going. But to Tori's point, right, he's their best playmaker on offense. They got to find ways to get the ball to him in space and on the perimeter.
He's split out right now. 3 rushes for 4 yards. On Kansas State's first drive, they had 5 first downs, excuse me. The last 3 drives, just 1. Johnson trying to change that. Tesno says, no, you will not. Not right now, at least.
And he got up hype. He's taken over this drive. First play, disengages from the block, gets a tackle for no gain, and then right there, they have a pass rush game. We call that a text. The tackle goes up the field, then the end comes around. He beats the tackle's block, gets in Avery Johnson's face. And again, if you're Kansas State, you don't want to live in 3rd and 10. They've had success. The one drive they had success was when they were able to stay in 3rd and manageable. We've seen this defensive line for Baylor start to create some pressure.
Yeah, K-State 0 for their last 3 third downs. 2-5 on the day. Johnson escapes it. Jerron Tibbs, his first catch of the day is a huge one.
Pete, what a play by Avery Johnson. Dave Aranda sends the house. They go man coverage on the outside. You see, that's a cross dog blitz. The 2 linebackers cross. He makes them both come up the field because nobody was there. He had nothing but space, but he keeps his eyes down the field and finds Jerron Tibbs for a big first down.
Edwards back in the game. Big time props to Tibbs. With Bradley and Brown battling injuries all season long, he has emerged as the lighthouse. Jackson and Edwards both into the game in the backfield. Edwards getting a little help from Jackson. Scoots over the 35, stacked up. And there is Matt Wells.
I talked about it before. They don't want to live in 3rd and 2nd and long, so be interesting to see this play right here. They still haven't got Dylan Edwards really going. They haven't really got him to the perimeter yet. I would love to see that. We've seen Jace Brown come in and out of the lineup as well. They haven't really got him the ball either.
2nd and 7. Johnson slings it. Wide open. Tibbs again. Is finally wrapped up and thrown down inside the 35. A 30-yard gain.
What a throw by Avery Johnson. This is a nice play design by Matt Wells. You got a wheel route from Dylan Edwards. Watch how he splits the linebacker in safety right there to Tibbs, who's really stepped up since Jace Brown has been banged up this year.
Short game for Edwards. Now, you're the expert, but I did notice there, is that the zone coverage that Avery Johnson does so well against?
Exactly. So Dave Aranda talked about it. He wanted to play a little bit more man coverage and also disguise and give him different looks, because Avery Johnson has played really well for zone coverage, know exactly where to go with the football. But again, great design by Matt Wells. You have 3 guys to the right. You send them all in vertical routes and bring Tibbs on an end breaker. Nice accurate throw by Avery Johnson.
Rice and Jackson into the game. Johnson faces pressure. Looked like that was designed, but broke down. Garrett Oakley was intended.
So they had 2 options on that play, right? He could throw to the flat to Garrett Oakley, but they also had the throwback screen to Joe Jackson, but Baylor does a really good job sniffing it out.
Keaton Thomas on the scene. 4:32 left before halftime. Another critical 3rd down coming up for Kansas State.
We saw Dave Aranda bring pressure on that last 3rd down. Avery Johnson used his legs. Let's see what he does right here, because the Baylor defensive line has done a really good job being able to create some pressure just with a 4-man rush.
Here's Blake Barnett now, aligned next to the starting quarterback and superstar Avery Johnson. Johnson sends him packing. Ooh, dangerous pass was intended for Cook.
Oh, that was a defensive lineman's dream. They go 3-man rush. They drop number 59, Devontae Tesno, right over the middle of the field, and he has his head in the right spot. He just isn't able to squeeze the football. You can see it right in the middle. Watch number 59. He drops to the right to his own coverage, and he just barely misses it. You had a chance there, big fella, for a big interception, but that's a nice job by Tesno in zone coverage, getting to his landmark.
49-yarder coming from Luis Rodriguez. Perfect on the season. Didn't really join the team till July 4th. And he remains perfect. A great story, a last-minute recruit, an addition to this team over the course of the summer, and he's delivered.
Pete, ice in his veins. And it's funny, we were talking to Coach Kyman. You said it, he didn't get to campus until late July, right? So he didn't know a lot of these guys, and he's been one of their best weapons this entire season. You talked about it. He has yet to miss a field goal kick. So that was a big-time kick right there to tie this thing up.
Big-time drive for Matt Wells and Kansas State. But now, Sawyer Robertson with an opportunity, and plenty of time left on the clock here in the first half.
Yeah, he does a really good job in these scenarios, right? This is not a 2-minute drill, but if you're Baylor, you want to be able to bleed this clock out and go in half, because remember, they get the ball at half, but watch him manipulating the defense. This was last week. He wants to hold that safety in the middle of the field just for a second, because he wants to go to Kobe Prentice down the left side of the field. He holds him with a quick glance to the right, watch the go route to the left, and then the accuracy, Pete. Oh my goodness. Puts it out there in front when only Kobe Prentice can do that. He did it today, right? Manipulating the defense. He wants to hold this safety in the middle of the field. Quick glance to the left just to hold him, because he wants to hit Kobe Prentice on the same exact route down the seam for a touchdown. He holds him, puts it over the linebacker's head, splits the safeties for a big-time touchdown. He's one of the better quarterbacks at manipulating the defense, knowing where to go with the football.
That's why that Big 12 quarterback club is always so exclusive, man. You got guys like Sawyer Robertson and Avery Johnson. Locked at 10. Baylor has another opportunity now. Robertson's numbers on the day, 10 of 13, 116 yards, the 1 touchdown and interception. And those last 2 throws, by the way, where he escaped out of trouble, and then he had the long one to Prentice that was just pinpoint accuracy. Those are what NFL scouts want to see.
Without a doubt, right? Movement within the pocket. A lot of times quarterbacks, they drift back, but he does a good job moving up in the pocket, but then still looking down the field to find receivers.
Freshman Michael Turner in the game. A whistle. Flag is dropped.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Colton Price, a little ahead of schedule. It was either him or everybody else, right?
Yeah, I think he flinched the ball a little bit early, dropped his hips.
First and 15. Jake Spavital said, unfortunately this year, he's had to figure out a lot of these types of plays. First and 20, first and 15. Ooh, in and out of the hands of Ashton Hawkins.
and he wouldn't have got much yardage there either. Anyway, Donovan McIntosh does a really good job in man coverage. They go switch release, so they bring Cole Wilson on a go route, and underneath they bring a drag route by Hawkins, but he isn't able to come away with the catch.
Robertson with time, floats it for Trigg, who climbs the ladder and comes down with it. Yes, sir. Logan Bartley, the freshman, was just outmatched.
These two are just always on the same page, right? Again, 6'4", 220 pounds. Just put it up there for your big tight end. Helmet and above. Nobody is jumping with Michael Trigg right now. Nice accurate throw by Sawyer Robinson. A nice hand catch by Michael Trigg.
Tempo from Baylor. Turner chopped down in the backfield. Did not have a chance. Cody Stufflebean there with the stop.
Yeah, we're going to go back to that last catch. This is a nice job by Sawyer Robinson. But look at the big man climb the ladder, come down with that catch. There's nothing much that Logan Bartley, number 10, can do. He's in perfect position, but that's a guy that's just being bigger than you, essentially like a power forward. He boxes them out and high points the football.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about the perfect high point. That was it. 2nd and 10. Robertson zips it. Wilson again making guys miss inside the 30. You can bet he's hanging on to that football. 26-yard gain.
Really good job by Sawyer Robinson going through his progressions. He starts off to the left, then gets back right, finds Cole Wilson. It's a nice job by Cole Wilson, understanding zone coverage, sitting up in the void of that zone coverage and getting an explosive catch on that first down play.
So a timeout on the field. Welcome into the booth here at beautiful McLean Stadium. Pete Souza alongside the 10-year NFL veteran here, Leger Douzable. What have you seen so far from Baylor this afternoon, their offense?
Yeah, well, first they had some struggles turning the football over, but this is what we're accustomed to seeing from this Baylor offense. Throwing in time and Sawyer Robinson manipulating the defense and throwing the ball down the field.
And that one, another one, in and out of the hands of Ashton Hawkins. That's a guy with one of the biggest hands, biggest set of hands on the team, and they're soft. I know because we've all seen him, right? But he's just been kind of hung up, or he hasn't been able to catch it with his hands.
I would say that was actually a really good play by Donovan McIntosh as well. He gets that right end in there to knock away the football. But you talked about it. Ashton Hawkins has some of the better hands on this team. He does a really good job separating at the top of routes and hand catching everything. But that was a nice job by Donovan McIntosh, number 9 for Kansas State.
Robertson finds Wilson, who slipped out of the backfield, takes it inside the red zone. 13-yard gain. Wesley Fair makes the stop, but not before another Baylor first down.
And I would not be surprised if offensive coordinator Jake Spavital slows it down a little bit. I talked about it before. They have a chance for a 2-for-1 right here. They get the ball coming out at half. The clock's at around 2:18. It looks like they maybe will let this run down to the 2-minute drill. They don't want to leave much time for Kansas State if they go on to score on this drive.
10 seconds before the 2-minute timeout. Fade, Trigg, 6. Wow, 17 yards. Wesley Fair didn't have a chance. Michael Trigg, we'll be seeing you on Sunday someday. Right now, you get 6.
What a catch if he is able to come down in bounds with the football. But slot fade from your big tight end. Watch him go up and high point this again. Let's see, did he have control of it? Right there, looks like he has full control over it, Pete. That's good in the NFL. That's 2 feet down. Does the ball move? Looks like he has firm control. What a play by Michael Trigg. Again, in the red zone, you want to be helmet and above. And with a guy with that size at 6'4", you definitely want to be helmet and above. Nice accurate throw by Sawyer Robinson. Nice aggressive catch by Michael Trigg for a touchdown.
And boy, you talk about a guy. Oh, check that now. Hold on now. We've got to stop at your play before the PAT. It looks like they're going to take a look at this, and we might get a review. Our referee, Kevin Marr, more than likely now said to toss it up to our replay official, D. Anderson.
And that's why when we saw the replay, I wanted to see if he had possession, did the ball move. But from our angle in the replay that we saw, and we're going to take another look at it right here. And it's hard to tell from this angle if the ball is moving. But we see that foot inbounds right there. Let's see from this angle.
Beautiful work by our ESPN crew.
Right there, doesn't have possession yet. Whoa, so that's going to be the determining factor. Does he get another foot down? It'll be where they thought he had possession of the football. This is going to be close. They did call it a touchdown on the field, and I would not be surprised if they used the language upheld because they called it a touchdown on the field, and that's the determining factor, right? Did he have firm possession with that right foot down? All right, Pete, let's play a game. What are you saying? I'm going to say there's not enough evidence to overturn it. I'm going to say it's upheld.
I'm going to tell you what I think. There's not enough evidence to overturn it, but you know the rules are the rules. Is he juggling it, right?
Correct.
Like, could they catch us here on? You know, you and I call that. It's like the Des Bryant. That's a catch. That's a catch any day of the week.
Yeah.
And both images are synced right there.
Yeah.
But that's a catch to me and you. But
I think the ball may be rolling right there. That's the only thing that would maybe deter it being an incomplete pass, because he doesn't get another foot down after that ball kind of rolls a little bit. This is going to be close, and they're taking a while looking at this.
That would be Triggs, would be now until it's official, 5th touchdown of the season. And as it stands right now, he's got 4 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown, but more questions than answers right now on the field at McLean Stadium, as high above, D. Anderson, the replay official, taking a real good look at this.
And just to pay it forward, if this is overturned and it's not a touchdown catch, it'll be 2nd down, right? And the clock will stop, 2:02 on the clock. They'll have to run a play before the 2-minute timeout. And the longer this takes, Pete, makes you wonder, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we know the rule. He's got to have absolute possession.
Yeah.
So here we go. Kevin Marr.
After further review, it was an incomplete pass. It will be 2nd down from the 17-yard line.
Well, Pete, we're 0 for 1 on the day. We're 0 for 1. But I think it was what we talked about, that last roll, and he doesn't get that foot back down in the field of play. That's what they determined of him not having possession of the football. But what an effort right there from Michael Trigg trying to come down with that football.
What an effort. Well, folks in Manhattan, Kansas, gotta like that one. Robertson to Turner. Blitzing was fair, and that opened up the door for a 17-yard touchdown for the freshman Michael Turner. First of his career.
And that's what Jake Spavital does, right? 2nd and 10 in the red zone. They like to run the football. They run their best play, their split zone. Right here, I want you to watch Austin Romaine. He tries to come over the top, but he misses his play. And watch how physical Michael Turner is running this football. Split zone, he gets over the top, breaks the tackle, and gets into the end zone. I told you the difference between him and Caden Knighton. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds. You're not going to arm tackle him. Nice physical run by the freshman to get into the end zone.
And you and Dave Aranda have the same school of thought. He talks about him. He says, hey, he's got some B-wash in him. You know, he
100%.
He'll run you over. And right there, by the way, that was the junior, right? Austin Romaine, one of the toughest guys on this field, certainly the anchor of that Kansas State defense. And the true freshman got right through him.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
17-10. Here it is.
Put your dance on.
Yeah, come on now. It is a race to Arlington, and it is getting interesting. Checking out some scores at the last time out. Cincinnati right now, still the first half, but up big on Iowa State. Wide open race.
And that's why you have to love the Big 12. It's so competitive from top to bottom. Each week is going to be a dogfight.
Special teams, after Price reveals the kick, is knocked down at the 30. Well, Kansas State, like a hot knife through butter on that first drive. 75 yards to a touchdown. Last 4 drives, 79 yards and a field goal.
And the issue is first and second down offense. They've been in third and long too often, and they don't have a high success rate when they're in third and long. We saw on that first drive, in zone coverage, Avery Johnson being able to cut people up. We saw him with a big-time throw on that last drive to Jerron Tibbs, but it stalled out with a field goal that they made at the end. Let's see if they can get going right before half, because remember, Baylor gets the ball coming out at half.
1:51 left on the clock. 3 timeouts for Kansas State, and Avery Johnson once again. This was the touchdown play.
And Dave Aranda had the perfect play. We call this a text game between the defensive tackle in the end. Matthew Fobbs-White, he goes up and under. He just misses Avery Johnson in the hole. That was the perfect play call from Dave Aranda. They just didn't execute on defense.
Man, you nailed it. His face said it all. So as the Baylor defense tries to find some rhythm, Johnson will look to keep it going. Oakley again, driven back, but not before positive yardage, about a 5-yard gain.
Still got plenty of time with this Kansas State offense. You have all 3 of your timeouts. You can still use the middle of the field here.
Johnson, tell he's playing with confidence. So is Tibbs. Gets out of bounds right at the marker. Side judge has him getting a first down, so the drive continues.
And I love the patience right there from Avery Johnson. Like he maybe wanted to take a shot down the field to his tight end, Garrett Oakley, but he goes down to the flat to Jerron Tibbs and picks up a first down.
Another tight end. Lofton this time. Called incomplete.
Same route concept, right? They take the inside receiver, run him on a corner route, take the tight end, run him to the flat. We saw that. They switched it last time on the play before, and Jerron Tibbs got the first down right there. They weren't able to get it. Braden Lofton isn't able to secure him. That looked like it actually might have been a catch.
It's close, man. Johnson finds Edwards. He finds space. Dragging tacklers with him after he sneaks by a set of them. 13 yards, finally taken down by Jordan.
Nice play design by Matt Wells. You get Dylan Edwards on the edge, and then you bring him back in for a tunnel screen. The defense overcommits. That's the first time we've actually seen him get the ball in space, and you saw a positive gain.
A nice play made by Thornton again.
Surprised they're not using one of the timeouts right here. You have 3.
Matt Wells does not want Baylor to get the ball back. That seems pretty clear right now, as Lofton does get the catch. Closing in on the red zone. Call that a first down and a timeout for Kansas State.
Kansas State calls their first timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
And Pete, you're right. I think that was a thinking by head coach Chris Kleiman and also Matt Wells. They don't want Baylor to get the ball back, but hey, you wasted about, I would say, 10 seconds right there that you could potentially need back. You still have 2 timeouts, so again, the middle of the field is entirely open. The playbook is entirely open, but I would have loved to see them burn one of those timeouts after that last completion.
Well, we're going to get you to the Big 12 studio halftime report after this short break, but we mentioned earlier the Iowa State score. They are ahead right now. Oh, excuse me, they're losing to Cincinnati, but there it is. Best teams right now, their chances to make the college football playoff.
And I would not be surprised if Cincinnati were to go ahead and pull off the upset, that they would be on this graphic next. Coach Satterfield's done a really good job down there. Let's not forget, they don't have a conference loss yet. Their only loss came to Nebraska week 1.
And that kind of brings us back to the present right here. Kansas State only has 1 conference loss, as that loss a few weeks ago to Arizona was a previously scheduled match. Johnson escapes the pocket again. Oh, and maybe hit a little late out of bounds. He sure was. Kylan Reed, who loves contact, they told us yesterday, the coaching staff loved it a little too much there.
Yeah, right there. He's a guy that's like a bull in a china shop, right? Not the biggest guy, but he loves
After the play was over, personal foul. Late hit, defense number 45. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
And you see right there, Tori gets knocked over. That's our own Tori Petrie right there. I mean, of course, knowing her, she bounces right back up on her feet.
I love the toughness from Tori right there. Look, she got a smile on her face, bounce right up. But if you're Kylan Reed, you have to understand where you're at on the sideline. Like, those are self-inflicted wounds. Dave Aranda talked about that. He's like, that's actually hurt us in our 2 losses, the self-inflicting wound. And remember, DJ Coleman had that late hit versus Arizona State that led to a game-winning field goal right there. If you're Kylan Reed, you have to pull up on the sideline.
Johnson. Play fake to Jackson, wide open. Garrett Oakley. 9 career touchdowns for Oakley. 3rd all-time for a Kansas State tight end, his 2nd of the year.
Oh, love the eye candy by Matt Wells. He does a good job of sending a player out to the right, which buys the defense. Then you sneak the tight end to the flat right here. You're going to see this guy come out to the right, and you're going to sneak this guy down here. Watch everybody flow this way, right? And the tight end's wide open for a touchdown. See how everybody flowed with the running back? Wide open down the seam. Nice play design by Matt Wells.
9 plays, 72 yards, took just 118. And how about that drive? 6 of 7 for Avery Johnson for 45 yards.
What an answer by this Kansas State Wildcat offense. Again, Matt Wells, great play design in the red zone. Sends Joe Jackson across the formation, which buys the linebackers, which means the tight end is wide open down the seam. And really love what I saw from Avery Johnson, not only throwing the ball, but using his mobility on that drive as well.
Hey, Tori, we got to check on your status now. You're usually checking on other people's status. Now we're checking on yours. You okay?
Well, injury report down here is that I am all good. Avery Johnson was so kind, helped me up. So injury report is that I am good to go for the rest of this game.
All right, still looking like $1 million too. Thanks, Tori.
Appreciate it.
I love the grit and toughness, Tori. I love it.
She is an athlete. She's always riding that mountain bike all over the place. So she's familiar with the at-risk behavior. So 13 seconds remain for Baylor. What do you do here?
I believe they'll take a knee and go into half. That was a great drive by Kansas State. They didn't leave any play clock barely on the clock, 13 seconds left. This is an aggressive Baylor offense that would not be surprised if they run the football here and go into half.
Caden Knighton is next to Sawyer Robertson. He had a fumble last week at Washington on the sideline. Fumbled today. Knighton, you can guarantee he'll secure the football here. Wesley Fair throws him to the turf, and that should do it. A terrific first half.
Talked about the explosion in the opener. We were waiting for it. It was a defensive battle in that first quarter, but these offenses came alive in the second quarter, more specifically Kansas State on that 2-minute drive. So I love the battle back and forth by both of these teams. And what do you expect? It's a conference game. In a conference game, it's going to be a tough, hard battle.
A conference game that means so much. Set to start in the second half as we welcome you back inside McLean Stadium. Pete Souza alongside Leger Douzable. One thing today we knew was going to be important for Kansas State was Avery Johnson. He's been on point.
And he's been really good, and his best playmaker on offense hasn't really gotten going. And Dylan Edwards, I love how efficient he's been with the football, knowing exactly where to go, but he's also used his mobility as well.
Yeah, that efficiency has served him well this year, but it is really starting to pick up. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half. He was surgical.
Yeah, he was, and drawing it up for your quarterback draw. We talked about it in the beginning and do's and don'ts, getting him going, not only throwing the ball, but running it. Nice play call by Matt Wells. Right here, cross dog blitz, makes 2 defenders miss, keeps his eyes down the field. Jerron Tibbs for a big completion on that 2-minute drive that leads to points. He's played really well, but Sawyer Robinson has been in his bag too. Watch how he ducks up under this defender, keeps his eyes down the field. Caden Knighton for a big completion, and then manipulating the defense, looking the safety off, finding Kobe Prentice down the scene. This has been high-quality quarterback play, and when you're Kobe Prentice, after you score, you dance on him.
And there they are, back on the field, ready for a second half. 2 of the most prolific quarterbacks in all of college football, especially obviously in the Big 12, and you see the numbers. I mean, both of them throwing dimes all day long. Just how many incompletions between the 2 of them?
10 incompletions between the 2, so both quarterbacks are playing at a really high level, very efficient football.
All right, he's here for the analysis and the math. I'm here to just kind of keep us on track and get us from point A to point B. But it's a hot day. The fans have been in the stands, and you see right now, Baylor will receive the second half kick. Let's get it down to Tori. She talked with Coach Kleiman.
Guys, I talked to Coach Kleiman at the half, and he told me his defense has got to be on the lookout in this half for number 1, Michael Trigg. He said he's a mismatch for us out there, and we've got to watch out for him. On the offense side of the ball, I asked about Dylan Edwards. He said, hey, he's still dealing with a little bit of something out there, so we're keeping an eye on how much he gets in the second half.
So let's see if Sawyer Robertson can pick up where he left off. 3 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Robertson. Oh, Washington finally gets a hand on it before he is whacked by Desmond Purnell.
And that could be dangerous, right? Tips and overthrows change games. It's a nice job by Sawyer Robinson going through his progressions, like Bryson Washington's coming off to the sideline. He's gimpy a little bit, but he does a nice job going through his progressions and then just checking the ball down to his running back to get a positive gain.
Michael Turner in the football game. So we see some waves of changes coming for Kansas State. Second and about 3. Turner burst through a hole. You gotta like seeing that if you're Dave Aranda and Jake Spavital.
No fair dodging. Again, 6 foot, 220 pounds. He's gonna get north and south in a hurry. Does a nice job on that simple zone play, getting north and south and picking up a first down.
Straight drop, straight over the middle, in and out of the hands of Prentice. Quay Moss was right there.
The offensive line for Baylor has done a really good job. Besides that one play where Sawyer Robinson had to duck under a defender, there hasn't been much pressure on him. He's been able to go through his progressions right there. That's his 3rd read in the progression. Kobe Prentice on a dig route and breaking route goes off his hands. And we talked about this earlier with offensive coordinator Jake Spavital. If they don't pick up that first down, it's hard for them to really get in that rhythm and have that up-tempo offense.
Pressure coming right up the middle. Hawkins.
And Pete, I don't think people realize how impressive that throw was, right? Evades pressure, rolls to his left. Remember, he's a right-handed quarterback. The velocity he had on that pass to Ashton Hawkins was why NFL scouts are giddy about him.
Well, and they had Uso Seomalu bearing right down. Prentice and Turner both jet out to the right. Robertson tucks it and takes it left for a first down.
So he wants to go to Ashton Hawkins again in one-on-one coverage. Nice job by number 9, Donovan McIntosh on the outside. Man coverage, he touched the ball, gets positive yards. We talked about it. I want to see him do that a little bit more when nobody is open.
Play fake to Turner. Pressure coming from the backside. Almost got there. Escapes it and gets it to Cameron. Osunsami was coming hard. And now Osunsami, away from the play in the backfield, is slow to get up.
Good to see him back on his feet. That was a really good rush on the outside. That is Kansas State's best pass rusher in Toby Osunsami. He comes off the edge, and Sawyer Robinson, right before the pressure gets there, is able to throw it to the outside to Josh Cameron. Another great hands catch by him. You're going to see Osunsami right here. He's going to come on the edge, and he almost gets there when Sawyer Robinson's at the back of his drop. He's swiping at the football, but just goes down at the last second. Again, nice job under pressure by Sawyer Robinson getting that to Josh Cameron. It's good to see Osunsami back up and on the sideline.
Now, if that happens to a young Leger Douzable, you looking for a hold there on Sidney Fugar?
I don't know if that was a hold. He was trying to bend the edge and just couldn't get downhill.
Speaking of downhill, there goes Turner with a full head of steam. A flag comes out of the backfield. We'll sort that out.
Holding, offense number 69. 10-yard penalty, second down.
I guess Fugar got a little greedy there.
And they go G-scheme right here. They pull him, and offensive coordinator Jake Spavital has talked about that, right? He's right here in the middle. He pulled from this way, and right there he gets handsy on Romaine, number 45, the linebacker. That's a nice job by Austin Romaine, trying to get off the block. Right there with that left hand, you got to let him go, right? It's one thing to keep the hands inside, but once he gets outside of your body frame, you got to let him go.
Fugar, 6'5", 343 from Waldorf, Maryland. As Austin Romaine comes up and makes the stop on Knight. So this is one of those 3rd and longs, right, where the tempo slows down, 8th play of the drive.
Yeah, it's all about communication. If you're the Baylor offense, you want to communicate, get the right play in as well. If this was cross the 50, this is where they would potentially run it because they're aggressive on 4th down, but this will be a pass. Let's see if this Kansas State defensive line can get after Sawyer Robinson.
Robertson whips it to Trigg. He is absolutely decked by Payne. If he'd caught it, he would have been out of bounds.
He's slow to get up, too, on the sideline. And that was the right place to go to football. It's cover 2. That's a whole shot. You got a flat defender, and you got a half-field safety. He put it where only Trigg could go up with the football, but it would have been tough, like you said, even if he comes down. Now, actually, it looks like that right foot would have gotten down.
Yeah.
So I've been glad how Sawyer Robinson has been able to put the ball high up for Trigg right there. He just isn't able to come down with the football. It's a nice defensive stand by this Kansas State defense.
Sterling Lockett back deep to return the punt as Palmer Williams is set to give it a ride. Lockett calls for the fair catch. We'll let it bounce. And guess who? Jacob Redding right there, Johnny on the spot. Sometimes you don't see him 100% of the time on defense because he's on special teams.
One of their core special team players, and you see it right there. Nice job by Jacob Redding. Not only just a leader on defense, but a leader on special teams. Pins this Kansas State offense deep.
The beautiful suspension bridge in downtown Waco. Cozying up to Cameron Park. We are tied here at 17. And Kansas State with the football in the shadow of their own goalpost after a wonderful special teams play. A 50-yard kick that was down right at the 3-yard line.
The last time they were able to get out of the shadow of their own end zone, Joe Jackson ripped off an 8-yard run.
There it is. Give him 3 yards this time. Tesno on the stop.
Yeah, nice positive gain right there. Again, you're backed up. Don't want to put the ball in harm's way right now. Love the play call on 1st down. Joe Jackson, again, a bigger back. He's going to get downhill for you.
Johnson keeps it. Nice play fake. Redding stays honest and rides him out of bounds.
And it goes back to when we had that conversation with Jacob Redding, right? Being disciplined in your assignment, understanding leverage, not allowing their playmakers to get to the perimeter. He does a nice job. That's the second time we've seen him today, right? Understanding his job, not letting their playmakers out-leverage them on defense.
This guy, there's no better story around the Baylor football program than Jacob Redding. A lifelong Baylor fan, a walk-on, and now here he is starting. And he's not one of those guys that's starting to fill a need. He's starting because he's crushing it. Johnson with time. Jackie Marshall shadowing him. And Johnson cuts back up inside of Marshall and is eventually tracked down right around the 14-yard line.
What a play by Avery Johnson. They go mesh concept, so they motion everybody in this condensed formation, and they run two crosses. You were talking about that earlier, Pete. Baylor does a really good job passing it off. So he decides to roll out to his left. And again, the defense does a good job not letting him get to the outside, but he cuts it back across the grain and picks up a big first down for this Wildcat offense.
Look at that, rushing right there. Avery Johnson and the rest of the team. He's got near 60 yards, and not much happening. Wildcat here. It's Jackson. Direct snap to direct production. Dragging a tackler with him. That was Jacob Redding. He took over the 20-yard line. 8-yard gain.
Matt Wells throwing some wrinkles in. Wildcat keeping Avery Johnson in the backfield. Essentially, they're just running a zone play to the left. Nice job by the left side of the offensive line. Number 69, Taylor Portier and John Pastore. They do a good job blocking and getting Joe Jackson that big run.
And now we're seeing a little bit of tempo from the Wildcats. Time for Avery Johnson, and there's Tibbs breaking free across the middle. Fourth catch of the game for him, that one for 13 yards. 70 yards receiving on the day now for Tibbs.
And Jerron Tibbs is just Mr. Reliable. Like, not the fastest guy, but he's a bigger body receiver. He understands leverage, understands zone coverage, and has a real rapport with Avery Johnson, especially with Jace Brown dealing with some ailments. He's a guy that he's really leaned on.
Yeah, and he's a winner, too. Won a state title in football and basketball growing up in Indianapolis. All-state basketball player, too. Jackson again. Oh, he was one player away from breaking that.
I literally was about to say that, but he's been a couple rushes away where he's had to make that last defender miss from having an explosive run. Again, nice job by these safeties for Baylor coming down in the alley, because Joe Jackson isn't an easy guy to bring down.
Second and 6. There's Oakley in motion. 5 catches for him so far today. Fake to Edwards. Floating it out. There's Tibbs. Almost pulled off a Willie Mays and brought it back down. That would have been brilliant.
I mean, they had exactly what they wanted. Tibbs wins at the line of scrimmage versus number 17, Tyler Turner. A nice throw by Avery Johnson, but as a receiver, that's one of the hardest catches. Over your shoulder, trying to, fend off the sun and come down with that catch. That was a nice throw by Avery Johnson. Tibbs just isn't able to come down with it.
Huge play. Third down. 4 of 8 on third down are the Wildcats. Call it 6. Johnson with time finds Jackson, who's awfully close to that first down yard marker, but didn't make it.
Nice job by Baylor in zone coverage. Nice job by the rush, keeping Avery Johnson in the pocket. And it looks like Coach Chris Klein is going to be aggressive here. They bring in number 13, Blake Barnett, who is their Wildcat quarterback. Again, 6'1", 220 pounds. Look for him to keep this ball and use that physicality. He's kind of like their Taysom Hill.
Loves the contact, but is, like you said, a true quarterback.
Check.
Empty backfield now.
Check.
First down, Wildcats.
And I love that wrinkle, right? Get Avery Johnson out of the backfield, you go empty, right? Which makes a linebacker displaced as well. So now you don't have as many people in the box to stop the run. Split zone, and we talked about it. Blake Barnett, 6'1", 220 pounds. He's just going to fall forward and get a first down.
10th play of the drive that started on Kansas State's own 3-yard line. Wow, the fake to Edwards was flawless. But here's Jace Brown, finally unlocked down to the 25-yard line. Bobby makes the stop, 29-yard gain. Brown loses his helmet.
And this is a great read by Avery Johnson. You see a little scuffle right there between Jace Brown and the Baylor defender. You're going to see it. He's going to run this slant route. He's reading this linebacker right here, Avery Johnson. As we clear it, this is a run play. It's a counter play. But once that corner triggers, he throws a slant behind him. That's technically a run play, but he's reading that nickel corner. As soon as he triggered, he threw behind him, gets a big completion to Jace Brown.
Seeing there in real time the evolution of Avery Johnson. A lot of room. Joe Jackson on his birthday barrels ahead down to the 15-yard line. Bush into the game, making a stop.
And we keep talking about it, right? He's one defender away from breaking one to the house for a touchdown. Right there, Baylor loses leverage on the outside. Nice job by the offensive line. Joe Jackson gets out in space. That is a touchdown-saving tackle by number 22, Reggie Bush.
And how about Joe Jackson? Really was called on to shoulder the load when Dylan Edwards was absent with injury. Today, Edwards is playing, but once again, Jackson being featured and taking full advantage on his birthday today. Johnson, ooh, batted away and almost picked off. DK Kalu almost came up with what would have been a game-changing turnover.
Little trickery right there from Avery Johnson, right? It looks like it's going to be a quarterback sweep, but they're sending Joe Jackson to the left on a wheel route. He was out-leveraged, but that's a nice play right there by Kyler Gordon, number 40, tipping that ball out, because that was a touchdown if he doesn't get a hand on that ball.
13th play of the drive. This is the longest drive of the season right now for Kansas State. Another great fake. Oh, and the only thing between Avery Johnson and the end zone that could stop him was himself.
But that's a nice read on a zone read. Nice job by number 86, Garrett Oakley, getting out in front and blocking. He picks up a crucial first down, but you talked about it, Pete. If he doesn't slip there, he gets into the end zone for a touchdown. You see it right there. Garrett Oakley, number 86, blocking. He cuts back inside. The old turf monster got him right there, and he goes down.
Joe Jackson is the running back. Army did this in the second half against Kansas State, where they upset the Wildcats. Kansas State doing it to Baylor today. Milking the clock and just a beatdown this drive feels like.
Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds. It'll start on my signal.
But you talked about it, right? 13, I believe, what is this, 14 right here? This is demoralizing if you're this Baylor defense, because a lot of the plays, besides that big explosive play to Jace Brown, have been on the ground. They have been winning in the trenches. So we talked about this being a physical game. Everybody talked about how explosive this game could be. Right now, Kansas State on the offensive line, they're winning the battle in the trenches.
Beautiful throw. Jace Brown with the catch. Hush over the crowd. 12-yard touchdown.
I mean, Avery Johnson's in his bag right now. He's reading the coverages. He's understanding when to pull the ball on zone read. Again, another opportunity for a slant route. You got off coverage right here. He's reading this off corner, and once he snaps the ball and he sees that he has that much cushion with his number one receiver, he pulls it and throws the slant. It puts it right where Jace Brown can catch it and get into the end zone. We've been wondering, where's Jace Brown been? He showed up big on this last drive.
14 plays, 97 yards. Total time of possession on the drive, 6:41.
Oh, Avery Johnson is hyped right now, and he should be. 97-yard drive for a touchdown to take the lead in this game.
A huge drive ended with a touchdown from Jace Brown. 14 plays, 97 yards over the course of 6 minutes and 41 seconds, and that's exactly what Kansas State wanted to do.
Yeah, talking to Matt Wells earlier this week, I know people were down on the Kansas State offense before the UCF game, and I said the biggest thing was you guys didn't have sustained drives, a lot of 3-and-outs, and it's hard to get in the rhythm on offense. Well, you just talked about it. 14 plays, 97 yards. They scored at the end of it, and sometimes your best defense is keeping the opponent's offense on the sideline, and that's exactly what they did, almost bleeding 7 minutes off the clock before Sawyer Robertson and this Baylor offense can get back on the field.
So after a long break, almost 25 minutes of real time, Sawyer Robertson now back onto the field.
And we've seen so many lead changes, tied game in this game multiple times. Let's see if Sawyer Robertson can now answer what Avery Johnson just did on the field.
16 of 24, 197 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception for Sawyer Robertson. Caden Knighton tries to bounce out to daylight. Wesley Fair chin checks him. Oh, Austin Romaine with one hand throws him down to the ground. Loss of 11.
It looks like number 18, Wesley Fair, is down.
We'll step aside and update you when we get back. There is Caden Knighton now. He's a track star. Blinding speed, but he could not outrun Austin Romaine.
Not at all. And you have to understand if you're Caden Knighton when the play is over. Like, just get north and south. Right here, he tries to bounce it to the right. Can't do that. Then reverses field, bounces to left. Heck of a play by Austin Romaine to get him down for a major loss. And we talked to Coach Spav about this, the offensive coordinator. He said too many times he had to design plays for 1st and 20, 2nd and long. And right here, they're in that scenario again.
Robertson just off the mark there, trying to get it to Kobe Prentice, who was wide open.
And right there, Sawyer Robertson missing an opportunity for an explosive play. Ashton Hawkins was streaking down the left sideline, and the safety dropped him in coverage. I know they'll look at that on film and make the adjustment and maybe go back to that play because he was dropped in coverage for a potential touchdown.
So 3rd and 21. Motion from Michael Trigg back in the game. Good sign for Baylor fans. Austin knocked down. Cody Stufflebean.
What a play by Cody Stufflebean. But we're going to go to the play before because there was a real missed opportunity. You're going to see Ashton Hawkins. He's going to be wide open right here. The safety right here drops him in coverage. And as we play this, Sawyer Robertson is looking over there. Look, he's wide open down the seam.
Wow.
And he's trying to go in the middle, gets an incomplete pass, but there's an opportunity for a touchdown right there. But also, nice job on 3rd down. Cody Stufflebean, they run a nice twist game up front. He comes around and gets the sack on Sawyer Robertson to get this Wildcat defense off the field.
3rd sack of the year for Stufflebean, and Lockett is sacked right around the 44-yard line. 41-yard punt, 4-yard return. Let's get it down to Tori.
Guys have been keeping an eye on wide receiver Jace Brown down here on the sideline. We know that this is his first game back from that injury, and I've been watching him, and he has not sat down once on this sideline, not on the bench under the shade, despite the heat out here. He's not playing every single snap, but he sure is ready to go in on every single snap they give him.
Well, he's a Florida kid like you, Vijay, right? They don't get tired.
We're different, man. We don't get tired. And to Tori's point, right, this young man's excited. He doesn't like missing football games. And we kind of saw this play out when they played Arizona. Like, they really didn't get him the ball the first half. Second half, he came alive, just like in this game. He really came alive that last drive.
Guys, we're talking about Florida kids. I'm a Florida kid, too. I bounced back from that hit. I'll get back out there.
I think a lot of other reporters or people in your shoes might have had the stretcher out there, Tori.
Hey, you know, you got to be tough. To be fair, I have played football before. So that might be a surprise to some people, but I have played women's tackle football, so I can take a hit.
I love it, Tori. Let them know. Florida, man, we built different.
We're built different in Florida.
First and 10. Johnson. Tibbs grabs it, but a nice play made by Coleman coming up.
Tevin Williams does a nice job on the outside, getting off that block on the screen play. They thought they had the numbers for Kansas State on the outside, but he defeats that block and gets it for a minimal gain.
A huge sequence coming up here. Second and long from the 31-yard line. 7-point advantage for Matt Wells and his offense. Johnson feeling it, floating it. Ancio, did he pull it down? Yes!
I believe he did.
25 yards. Had a touchdown last week, sort of snuck out of the backfield and scored on a 3-yarder. That one, 25 yards, putting his team in position.
And Avery Johnson was hyping he should be. Check my footwork, how he's able to maneuver in the pocket, evade some pressure, put it up high for his tight end, Will Ancio. Nice job, nice physical catch at the catch point because the defensive back was right there. He rips it away from him at the end. What a throw by Avery Johnson.
Pistol formation with Edwards behind him. Avery Johnson, 229 passing yards, 23 of 30. He's been lights out. Edwards bounces it, brings it into the end zone. A 5-yard touchdown.
And that's what we've been waiting for. We talked about this in the beginning, right? Dylan Edwards wants to get on the perimeter. Nice patience on that G scheme. You pull the left guard and the tight end. Baylor does a bad job losing, contain, and leverage. They spoke about that the entire week. With Dylan Edwards' vision and speed, he bounces it inside, then bounces it out and gets to the end zone.
Second rushing touchdown of the season for Edwards, and we saw a carbon copy of that last week against UCF. A play on the goal line that he just bounces out to space, and it seems like nobody's even around him, part because of his vision and part because he's so fast.
Watch Avery Johnson. This is a big throw to Will Ancio, right? Watch his footwork. Step up into the pocket on the run, puts it high where his tight end can come down with it. And on the very next play, we've been wondering, where is their explosive playmaker? You're going to get the guard pull, the tight end come around. Watch the running back come down and then bounce outside and get to the end zone. Nice vision by Dylan Edwards. Presses the hole, gets outside, you lose, contain, and leverage. That's the speed that can hurt you. What a play by this Wildcat offense, and Dylan Edwards starting to get going in this game.
129 total rushing yards for Kansas State to go with 229 passing yards. They are coming at Baylor from all directions, and the Bears seem overwhelmed right now.
And right now, if you're the Baylor offense, right, you're down by 2 scores. The defense has really struggled, the Baylor Bears defense. You have to come out on this next drive and come away with points.
Well, and it goes back to that long drive, the 14-play scoring drive that took up 97 yards and almost 7 minutes. Now you look at the clock, and it's like you start playing that game.
Yeah, literally, you're down 2 scores, and it's about to be the 4th quarter, and that's why Chris Klein and then also offensive coordinator Matt Wells were talking about having sustained drives. I spoke about it, Pete. Sometimes your best defense is making sure that the Baylor offense isn't on the field, and they've done a really good job sustaining drives and then finishing those drives with touchdowns and not field goals.
Similar situation to their game against SMU. Backs against the wall for Baylor. Can Sawyer Robertson bail him out? Michael Turner gets a touch close to the 30-yard line. 5 yards on first down.
And if you're Baylor, you definitely want to score on this drive, but at worst, you have to have a sustained drive. Your defense has been out there the entire 3rd quarter. They have to be running down as far as their energy.
Robertson finds Trigg. 15-yard gain. Quay Moss on the stop.
And a nice job. Again, he starts off left to right, finds his tight end, coming across the formation, hits him out in space for a big first down.
4 catches for 45 yards for Michael Trigg. Turner hops and is clocked.
And Pete, he didn't even have to jump there. The linebacker fell. If he cuts that back to the right, that's an explosive run, but he decides to hop it again. This is a freshman running back that is getting more playing time because Bryson Washington is banged up. He's actually run the ball really well, but there had an opportunity for an explosive play.
Robertson, why not get a playoff? We got some momentum, and we got Ashton Hawkins pulling it down close to a first down, probably about a yard shy. Stopped by Donovan McIntosh, and we have found ourselves headed towards the final frame.
Chase Brown celebrating, the Wildcats up 14. This is going to be a fun fourth quarter, Pete.
The Big 12 Conference is fire. We said that pregame, and here's some of the reasons why today. Huge win last night for BYU. Bear Bachmeier, a true freshman, 351 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. And oh, by the way, Cincinnati leads Iowa State, 14th ranked Iowa State in the third quarter. But Iowa State putting together a comeback right now. And tonight, all eyes on Texas Tech playing Houston at H-Town. Play fake for Robertson, finds Trigg wide open. Look at the big fella snatch it and fall inside the 30-yard line. Rich takes him down.
Nice play design by offensive coordinator Jake Spavital right there. Does a nice job. Condensed formation, heavy play action pass. Everybody bites on it. Trigg is wide open in the flat.
6 catch for Trigg. Bryson Washington into the game. Wilson sneaks inside the red zone and ducks to a first down after a great catch. That's 11 yards. The chains continue to move. One of the best quarterbacks in the country.
QBR, one of the best in the fourth quarter. Nice play design by Jake Spavital. You go trick formation, 3 receivers to the right. Everybody runs to the sticks on stop routes. He finds Cole Wilson for a first down.
Sawyer Robertson floats out of the pocket and wisely throws it away.
Yeah, right there, defensive coordinator Joe Klanderman said enough is enough. I'm sending some pressure. He sends Austin Romaine, and he beats Bryson Washington in pass protection right there. Gets Sawyer Robertson off his spot.
And he mentioned to us earlier in the week when we met with him, we got to get this guy off his mark. We got to get him to the ground. Disguise some looks, but most importantly, try to punish him and get after him. The bell cow. Bryson Washington. So that brings up about a 3rd and 6, I'll call it.
And usually in this scenario, they like to run the football right here. This is a 2-down territory, especially being down 14 in the game. They are one of the more aggressive teams in all of college football. So do not be surprised. If they get the look they want on defense with a light box, right now only 6 in the box, do not be surprised if they run the football here.
Certainly set up for that with Washington next to Robertson, who surveys the defense. Look at the quick feet, the moxie, the laser beam that Trigg could not hang on to, and hanging all over his back. Thomas.
That's a play right there. If I'm Sawyer Robertson, you have the mobility. You had nothing but space out there. Take off and try to pick up the first down with your leg. I understand Michael Trigg's a big physical tight end who can box out smaller defenders, but you had a clear-cut path to run and get that first down.
So here we go. Robertson staring into the eyes of the Kansas State defense. On the season, Baylor 54% on 4th down. The most critical of the year, quite possibly, coming up right now.
You have to call timeout.
No, well, a flag came in.
Well, no, it seems like the ref got it to him.
Gotcha.
Baylor calls their first timeout of the half.
So flirting with real trouble there. The Bears don't get it off.
And what happened right there, the defense shifted and they put 5-6 guys at the line of scrimmage. Sawyer Robinson didn't know what to do. They had to call timeout.
All right, here we go, partner. Biggest play of the game, no doubt about it.
Without a doubt, Jake Spavital, the offensive coordinator, is very inventive in how he sets up plays in this scenario. Look for them to go to their big playmaker, number 1, Michael Trigg. They've tried to get it to him before in this red zone. And then on the defensive side, Kansas State, right? Joe Klanderman, he showed 6 guys at the line of scrimmage like he was going to go man coverage. Right now, they look like they could be in zone. There is 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. Looks like Austin Romaine will be a spy on this play, number 45.
Robertson. Wilson. Out of reach.
So they decide to go to Cole Wilson, their slot receiver, on a slot fade, and then Sawyer Robinson just puts a little bit too much air on the ball and it sails out of bounds. Right here, he's going that way the entire time, and he has him beat. He just puts it out too far in front, and the ball was in play. Cole Wilson just couldn't come down with it, and Joe Klanderman excited, right? Reserved, but excited that his defense got off the field on 4th down there.
Dylan Edwards, the running back, and Baylor can really ill afford any production from Kansas State on this drive. Edwards falling forward for some positive yardage.
And you talked about it, Pete, this Baylor Bears defense, they really got to bow up right here, right? You're down 2 scores in the 4th quarter. We've seen in the second half this Kansas State offense really milk some clock, right? 14-play drive, 97 yards, almost milked 7 minutes off the clock. They cannot allow that right here. They have to be able to get this 3 and out and give the ball back to their offense.
And when you count today, Baylor as a team now -4 turnover margin. They really haven't done a good job of creating turnovers this season. They could use one here. Oakley running dudes over. 7th catch of the game. That one for 13 yards. Give him 55 yards catching on the day and 1 touchdown.
And Chris Kleiman talked about him, right? They've been dinged up at receiver. They were saying that this is a guy, Garrett Oakley. We got to get him the ball and get him going more. He actually has a nice rapport with Avery Johnson. That was another dime by Avery Johnson because he put it out in front where Garrett Oakley can turn up the field and get the 1st down.
3 Kansas State tight ends with catches today. Fake to Barnett into the game. Edwards. So crafty, taken down just shy of the 35-yard line, but that felt like it was about to pop.
Matt Wells with his bags of tricks right there. You have a 2-back set, right? Dylan Edwards is the game, but so is Joe Jackson. They send him in motion, and then you talked about it. The backup quarterback is also in, Blake Barnett. They fake it to him, and then they give it to Dylan Edwards on the end around. You talked about it, a shoestring tackle away from Dylan Edwards getting on the perimeter and probably making an explosive play for this Wildcat offense.
A Kansas State media member asked a good question this week. They said, you seem to empty out the chamber as far as trick plays, and Wells just paused and said, there's more where that came from. We're seeing it today. Edwards again, he starts to get lathered up now. That's trouble for Baylor.
And to speak about that, head coach Dave Aranda talked about that, right? Him and Matt Wells have the history going back to Utah State. So he knew after what happened last week to this Baylor defense with Oklahoma State emptying out the chamber with trick plays, that they were going to see some trick plays today as well.
Wells and Aranda coaching together at Utah State really got to know each other, which turns this one into somewhat of a chess match. You know, and Wells said that. He said, look, Dave knows I like to run 2 quarterbacks. Here we go. Play fake. Johnson. Incomplete pass. Looked like he might have been out of bounds before he threw it.
That's a big stop by this Baylor Bears defense, right? Disciplined football. They go under center. They come out and expand quickly. They go play action pass, roll out to the right. Looked like Avery Johnson could potentially take off and get the 1st down, but there was a flat defender there that wouldn't allow that. Also, Garrett Oakley runs a corner route to that side. There was an underneath defender, so Avery Johnson couldn't throw the ball. That's a big-time stop by this Baylor Bears defense.
Josh Cameron, can he light a fire? Dangerous, catching it inside the 10-yard line up against his face mask. So Sawyer Robertson in the offense now, back onto the field with another chance when we come back. 55-yard punt, 11-yard return.
Unlock more sports for one unbeatable price. Get unrivaled coverage all year long. Introducing the new ESPN Fox One bundle.
You are watching the Big 12 on ESPN. And now we're about to see Sawyer Robertson, who has struggled 7 of 13 for 66 yards in the second half. Can he get it going to bring his team back? We're about to find out. Michael Trigg grabs it. Oh, and was literally one hand away from taking it into the end zone. McIntosh saves the day. A 42-yard gain, though, for Baylor.
I mean, cover 2 down the seam with a linebacker on his hip in front of the safety. You cannot place that any better, Pete. What a throw by Sawyer Robertson to his big tight end.
Robertson. Trigg, get out of here. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. I mean, Michael Trigg, show out. Go up. One-handed big fella, left hand. Hold off the defender. Secure the catch. Get that left foot in bounds. What a catch.
Under further review. Rolling on the field is a completed catch.
He's about to put the Statue of Liberty out of work.
And it's so funny because we talked to offensive coordinator Jake Spavital, and I was talking about the connection between Michael Trigg and also Sawyer Robertson, and he likened it to Kyler Murray when he had DeAndre Hopkins. Michael Trigg is down there somewhere. Just throw it up, and the big fella will come down with the football.
And no shot at Cole Wilson, but, you know, you can't play that game with Cole Wilson at 5'9". You can with Michael Trigg.
And you can get him on some slot fades if there's more space. I would just have loved to see Josh Cameron or Michael Trigg on that last possession get the ball on 4th down. But look at this. Defensive back draped all over him. He holds him off, again, like a power forward. Goes up and snags that with one hand. Now, again, just like last time, is that ball moving? Does he have possession with the left foot down? That'll be what the refs are looking at right now. But right there, it doesn't seem like the ball is moving at all.
That's what we thought last time.
That is what we thought.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. First down.
And Pete, that will be a SportsCenter top 10, for sure.
Number 1 with the SportsCenter top 10. You got that right.
Man, again, like the balance to go up, hold the defender off, and snag that, hand catch it with just one hand, and then the wherewithal, presence of mind to keep that left foot in bounds. What a catch by Michael Trigg.
A career day for Michael Trigg. 7 catches, 148 yards. Remember, he had a touchdown wiped off the board earlier in the game. Robertson with time. A wide open Bryson Washington. Trucking one defender, trucking 2, dances into the end zone, 11-yard gain. Daniel Cobbs didn't stand a chance.
I love the progression right there by Sawyer Robertson. He looks to the left, looks back to the right, gets to his check down. And we've talked about Bryson Washington's toughness all game long, just refusing to go down. He breaks 2 tackles right there, unwilling to go down. Watch this. Watch, he looks to the left, gets back to the right. Look at his eyes. He's holding defenders. Gets back. Let me get to my check down, my 3rd option. And then you have an opportunity as a DB. Get off me, stiff arm. Austin Romaine, you want some? Nah, I'm not getting arm tackle. I got reservations for 6 in the end zone.
Do you have any reservations about this, a 2-point conversion?
And this is what the analytics come in, right? Because if you get this 2-point conversion and then you go on to score, you can win the game. So that's what they're doing right now. I like this, them being aggressive going for 2 right here.
I mean, certainly, it's a vibe right now down on the field for the Baylor offense, so they've got some momentum. 4 wide receivers to the top of your screen. Sawyer Robertson, clean into the end zone, a 2-point conversion, a 6-point game.
Again, offensive coordinator Jake Spavital in his back. He motions the running back, Bryson Washington out. Light box, quarterback draw. We talked about the mobility of Sawyer Robinson. Want to see them use it more. They used it last week in the red zone on a zone reading. You can see it right here. You only got 5 guys in the box right now. And he does a nice job taking the snap, looking off to the left, and a good job by the offensive line. Left tackle Sidney Fugar, number 69. He cames his in inside. That way Sawyer Robinson can get to the edge and get in the end zone.
So there he is, Bruiser, the Baylor mascot. And how about Michael Trigg on that drive? Just amazing.
He was unbelievable. I mean, get your playmakers the ball. This throw right here in cover 2 he was unconscious with this throw. And he put that only where Michael Trigg could get it. And then holding the defender off, going up with your left hand, and the presence of mind to get that foot in bounds. Michael Trigg was big for them on that last drive. And this guy just refuses to go down, right? You're not going to arm tackle him. Bryson Washington is the heartbeat of this offense. You know he's dealing with ailments. It doesn't matter. His team needs him. He's going to show up big.
And all of a sudden, it's a 6-point game with plenty of time left. 8:50 on the clock here in the 4th quarter.
Whole new ball game, Pete.
Elston. Oh, absolutely gets his
ball came out.
And there's a fumble. Baylor says they have it.
But it looks like they may have ruled him down.
Jungo Sungo comes through and makes the hit. There he is.
Momentum shifts. That's what this is, right, Pete? Watch this physical hit. And, I mean, that was at full speed. And the rest of the discussion, that ball might have been out. What a physical tackle right there.
Rolling on the field was a fumble recovered by the kicking team. First down, Baylor.
Momentum shift.
Only the 2nd tackle of the season for Placide Jungo Sungo. And it generates a turnover, first of the game for Baylor.
And Dave Aranda's talked about playing to the standards, right? Complementary football, all 3 phases, playing at a high level. We've seen it the last couple drives.
Under further review.
And that was
Rolling
close.
on the field was a fumble recovered by the kicking team.
Because I was trying to see where the ball actually popped out, where his knee was going down on the ground, and it was a bang-bang play. But the refs called it a fumble on the field, so that'll be something to watch.
The 5th-year senior went to James Martin, then transferred to Duke from Arlington, Texas, came back home. There's a giant bear down there. And almost, or might be, a huge turnover generated by Placide Jungo Sungo.
It starts with the Baylor defense being able to get off the field last time. Then Michael Trigg shows up big for the offense. Bryson Washington pays it off. Then on the next kickoff, right, physicality.
That looked like it was out.
Oh, yeah. For that, look, again, they ruled it a fumble on the field, so do they have enough evidence, right, to prove that it wasn't a fumble? And to your point, right, the ball looks out. Now, again, we'll see where his knee is. It's hard to tell in the scruff right there. There's so many players around him. But that ball looks like that's great camera work by our ESPN crew. It looks like the ball is out there. So this would be a massive turnover for the Baylor Bears.
Yeah, it seems like it's out. And then, okay, so that's Jungo Sungo with the. I love it.
That's not like their turnover, robe, like bear robe, right?
But you know, a special teams guy, he's not taking that off.
Oh no. It's rare that you get that feat, right? Getting a turnover on special teams, but what a physical hit by him.
Yeah, and it's been an adventure today for Elston.
After further review, it was ruled that the runner was in possession of the ball and down. It'll be first down and 10, Kansas State.
And that's what I was saying, Pete. From our angle, it was tough. There's so many bodies. It was hard to tell where that knee was when that ball popped out. But still, again, momentum is shifting to Baylor, right? What a physical tackle right there. But Kansas State gets a break. Let's see from this angle right here.
I think it's out there, but what do I know?
No, I think the ground caused the fumble because he had possession and the elbow hit first. That's why they ruled him down and overturned the call.
So Kansas State ball, and props to Jungo Sungo for the hit and for getting that bear outfit off as quickly as the official said that it was not a turnover. Here's Avery Johnson. Edwards looking for a crease. Kylan Reed with the stop.
You talk about it, Pete. There's still so much time left in this game. If you're Kansas State and you're Avery Johnson, right, get everybody just to breathe. Calm down. Let's put a drive together, right? The momentum is shifted to Baylor side. Let's try to get a few first downs and get that momentum shift back to us.
Oakley can't hang on. His first drop of the game comes at a critical junction.
And that was a physical hit by Jacob Redding. You're gonna see it in the middle of your screen. Watch him trigger right here. Make sure he doesn't catch it. What a physical hit. And it looks like Garrett Oakley is actually still down on the ground.
How about Redding? When we met with him yesterday, the kid is so humble and his eyes wide open looks at us and he says, you know, really nobody knew who I was like a year ago. And we said, who? What do you mean, like nobody? He said, like my friends and my family, and that was about it. And now everybody wants to talk to him and about him because he's a starter after being a walk-on.
Literally love the story, right? As an undrafted free agent, I kind of understand what it's like to be a walk-on in college football. And he said only defensive coordinator Matt Pallage and the recruiting coordinator knew who he was. Some coaches didn't even know his name, and he set goals for himself. And it was great hearing Matt Pallage and how he believed in him as a walk-on. Said, this is your goal that you want to do. You want to be on special teams next year. You want to be a contributor on defense. And now he's one of their best defensive players.
Playing at Baylor was actually a dream for Jacob Redding. He is a Baylor Bear through and through. His mom went to Baylor. His uncle played baseball and football here. His family actually had season tickets when McLean Stadium opened. He even had his childhood birthday here one year. He says his mom sends memories in family group chat, and he says to himself, that kid wishes he was where I am right now.
That's great stuff, Tori.
Massive third down, P right here. Look for Avery Johnson to potentially use his legs. So the last third down, he got to the outside and threw a pass. Look for him to potentially use his legs to pick up this first down if nothing's open down the field.
You hear the crowd. 3rd and 6. A lot on the line. Johnson escapes the pocket. A lot of real estate. 9-yard gain.
And Pete, we just talked about it, right? Nothing down the field, use your mobility. Baylor loses contain on the outside, right? The rusher rushes past, number 50 right there. Matthew Fogg White, he gets around Avery Johnson, opens up a big hole. Avery Johnson using his mobility to pick up a crucial first down for this Wildcats offense.
.30 left in the 4th quarter. 6-point lead for Kansas State. First down, and Dylan Edwards is dropped. Jackie Marshall, check that DJ Coleman.
It was a combination of the two. Jackie Marshall does a really good job defeating the block from inside out, and he finishes off that tackle. He's one of their better defensive linemen up front. That's a nice physical tackle. Working from right all the way to the left to hold Dylan Edwards to a small gain.
And to move Kansas State back a yard on that first down, setting up 2nd and long. Has to be something that Matt Pallage and Dave Aranda like. Joe Jackson now the running back. Almost a great play made by Tibbs. Reggie Bush was there to knock it away.
And that's twice, right? Jerron Tibbs is one at the line of scrimmage on this fade route. He beats the corner again. Avery Johnson, just too much air on the football. Tibbs tries to work his way back, just isn't able to come down. Nice job by Reggie Bush, not panicking and not getting the PI. You see the pressure starting to come up on Avery Johnson. Another massive third down.
This Baylor defense is energized.
Dave Aranda's going to bring some pressure right here. Let's not forget, Avery Johnson's legs are always up. You have to have pass rush lane responsibility.
Rush integrity is how Matt Pallage put it. Jackson wide open on the opposite side of the field. Cooper Lance takes him down, but not before an 18-yard gain.
What a play by Avery Johnson. You're going to see he works his way to the left. I talked about his legs always being up. They showed all this pressure. They dropped and only rushed 3. He works this way, and you see the running back, Joe Jackson, work here as we play it down. He gets dropped in zone coverage because they lose leverage.
Tempo from Kansas State, escaping the rush. Brown laid out, couldn't grab it. Tesno was bearing down on Johnson.
And what I don't understand is why would you go tempo there? You're up in this game, get a big first down, bleed some more clock, you throw an incomplete pass. That helps the Baylor Bears. It stops the clock. If you're Kansas State, I was a little bit surprised. Maybe they were just trying to catch Baylor off guard and try to end the game. But right there, you can get a crucial first down on 3rd and 11. Bleed some more clock down.
There is Chris Kleinman. Second and long, empty backfield. Johnson has 71 yards rushing and could only tack on a few more there.
But he's been nails on this down right here, the money down. 3rd down. Again, Baylor's showed different looks. They've shown a 4-man front. They've showed 6 or 7 at the line of scrimmage, dropped out, and with 3-man rush, they dropped 8. We actually haven't seen Dave Aranda bring pressure on 3rd down to him on this drive. Let's see if he switches things up. Because, again, Avery Johnson has hurt them with his mobility. Not only just running the ball, but buying time and finding receivers down the field.
Well, you said it, 2 for 2 on this drive on 3rd down and 7 for 13 on the game. Joe Jackson in the backfield. Johnson, so smooth, finds Tibbs, and the veteran receiver takes it down.
What a job by J-Ron Tibbs. You see the shoulder shrug right there. He does a really good job breaking inside, understanding outside leverage, and that was a great throw by Avery Johnson, who just beats the rush right there of number 32, Imarion Winston, who won on the edge right away. But nice accurate throw and nice timing by Jerome Tibbs and Avery Johnson.
5th drive of the day for 9+ plays by Kansas State.
Pressure off the edge.
It's about time. The pressure comes, and so does the turnover. Jacob Redding streaking down the sideline. All he wanted to do was play for Baylor. He's realizing the dream today. 69 yards on the return.
And I've been talking about it, Pete. Dave Aranda has not sent pressure. He sent the corner, boundary corner blitz right there. Forces Avery Johnson to throw it before he wants to. Jacob Redding undercuts this pass and takes it to the house.
Matt Pallage told us, hey, this dude is fast. I'm talking about great speed, speed merchant, and you get him on a basketball court, reverse dunks, the whole 9. We're seeing the athletic ability too.
Really good athlete, right? You see it right there in open space, taking that ball all the way back for a touchdown for the Baylor Bear defense. I mean, which player would you rather that happen for, right, than Jacob Redding, right? He's like the heart and soul of this defense, a former walk-on who's been a Baylor Bear through and through since he was a little kid.
Now, so interesting here, Leger. Avery Johnson and the offense come back on the field in moments. I want to get your take on that after we come back from break, but right now, it's all Baylor.
Dave Aranda sends some pressure. Nice job by Jacob Redding, undercutting the tight end. And then you got the blockers out in front. My man takes it to the house to give Baylor the lead in this game.
Welcome back to Waco, where it has been quite a day for Jacob Redding. You know, I think he might actually go home in this Bear suit. He is really soaking in his big play. We just talked about how he grew up a Baylor Bears fan. This is such a moment for him, guys.
Thanks a lot, Tori. Can Kansas State answer? Devin Rice is cut down at the 24-yard line. Another look.
I want to highlight Jacob Redding, who gets the interception. You're going to see this cat corner blitz off the edge right here, and Tibbs is going to run this dig route. Jacob Redding does a good job undercutting that. because of the pressure on the outside from the corner blitz. See the corner blitz coming off the edge? Has to throw off his back foot. Nice job by Jacob Redding, undercutting Gerard Tibbs, and he takes it to the house to get Baylor in front in this game.
So how does Avery Johnson respond? And quite possibly the best game he's played all season long.
Let's just go back to what you were doing. He was playing with confidence, being efficient with the football. Just an inopportune time for a turnover, and they're going down the field.
Jace Brown got behind the coverage, loses his helmet. Now the play is stopped.
Play stops, yeah.
That's the second time Brown has lost his helmet.
But I love that call by Matt Wells. Your quarterback just throws a pick six, but you put it back in his hands and you get it to your best playmaker on the outside, who beats number 18, Caldre Williford, down the field on a go route. He beats him off the snap, and that's a nice, accurate throw by Avery Johnson. Puts out in front so Jace Brown can run off of it. Unfortunately for them, his helmet came off, because that was a touchdown right there.
Helmet coming off. Personal foul, face mask grabbing it, helmet opening. Defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
So Simpkins is called for the penalty. So it's a half the distance, by the way.
I think that was the accident. I think it was number 18, Caldre Williford. I think he just mixed up the 6 and the 8 right there. But what a gutsy call by Matt Wells. Again, your quarterback just threw a pick six, but you have all the confidence in the world. And if you get one-on-one with your best playmaker on the outside, you go to him. Back and forth we go, Pete.
What a game it has been. We built this before. Sawyer Robertson, Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards. We didn't expect guys like Jacob Redding would come crash the party. And here we are. Jackson taken down at about the 9-yard line.
Nice physical run right there by Joe Jackson. Again, he's a guy that's no fear dodging, 6 foot, 212 pounds. Another Florida kid that's going to get downhill, loves the game of football. Nice physical run to keep them ahead of the chains right there.
10 carries for 72 yards and a touchdown. Second and 6. Jackson again. Squirts beyond that first down marker. So it'll be first and goal for the Wildcats coming up on 3 minutes.
Yeah, nice patience right there again from Joe Jackson. Split zone, they zone the offensive line to the right, bring the tight end back across. He has patience, sees the hole, gets downhill, picks up the first down. This is nice clock management right here by Kansas State as well.
Matt Wells, his daughter Jaden, in her first year as director of on-campus recruiting for the football program. His wife went to Baylor. Personal for him. Jackson. Oh, nice play by Keaton Thomas, who leads the Big 12 in tackles.
I think Dave Aranda is going to hold on to his timeouts until after the 2-minute timeout.
And that's where we're headed.
Yeah, Kansas State is definitely content to let this go to the two-minute timeout.
Aranda and his Bears clinging to a 1-point advantage.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
We'll step aside and take a breath, just like all of you.
Welcome back, Jace Brown. Big explosive play, getting his helmet ripped off and continuing to run down the field. Unfortunately, they had to blow it dead, but the Wildcats in prime position to take the lead.
Both Baylor and Kansas State looking for a signature win for their season. And Kansas State trying to close in on it right now. Second and goal from the 4-yard line, down by 1.
Pete, if I'm the Kansas State offense, I want to run this football, right? Baylor still has all 3 of their timeouts. You want to force them to use one of those timeouts right here.
Play fake, pressure. Coleman was coming. Johnson just gets rid of it, but it brings up third down.
Yeah, I want to correct that. Baylor has 2 timeouts. They had to burn one earlier in the third quarter. But again, Dave Aranda sending some pressure off the edge. DJ Coleman, he brings the safety off the edge. Now, I was a little bit surprised Kansas State didn't try to run the ball there. Right here on third down, again, look for Avery Johnson to use his legs to potentially throw the ball or even try to run it in.
Aranda calls Coleman one of his best players. He sent him there. Blake Barnett is in the game. Set up to take the snap alongside Avery Johnson. Check that. Johnson takes the snap. Rolls right. Jackie Marshall breathing down his neck. Does what he could do, which is throw it away.
Yeah, Matt Wells trying to give you some eye candy. They bring in Blake Barnett, bring him back across the formation. Everybody from the Baylor Bears defense, disciplined defense, great eyes right there. Everybody found their work, and then Jackie Marshall forces Avery Johnson to throw the ball away.
Marshall returned punts in high school. He's got the quickness even at 300+ pounds. Here comes Luis Rodriguez, 22-yard attempt. He has not missed all season long. Bangs another one through. So Kansas State surges ahead 34-32. What a game it has been here in Waco. We knew we'd see some fireworks, but I didn't think we'd see this. All the way down the stretch we come now. 1:48 left in this one, Leger. What do you do if you're Baylor? Not only to move the ball down the field, but to do it efficiently, and you got to be careful too.
Yeah, because you don't want to leave too much time if you do score at the end, but most importantly, you want to take care of the football. They already have a couple turnovers in this game. Look for Michael Trigg, their big tight end, to get involved in this game. And also with 2 timeouts, they can still run the ball with Bryson Washington, but you have to love what you saw from the Baylor Bears defense. Back up against the wall in the red zone, they hold them to a field goal.
Now, if you're Dave Aranda right now, what are you thinking? Are you thinking a field goal, or are you going all the way selling out for a touchdown?
No, you want to win this game based off your offense and how explosive it's been. You trust your quarterback, Sawyer Robinson, so you're going to throw the ball down the field. You're going to put your faith in this offense to go win the game.
Here we go. Wilson taking it to the 2-yard line. He is lightning in a bottle. Has a convoy. Oh, and is absolutely drilled. Knocked down by Gabe Powers. Biggest hit of the game so far, and that's saying something. 34-yard return, though, first. Special teams has really come alive with the physicality on these tackles. See Cole Wilson, this is a bounce left return. Gabe Powers welcomes himself into this game on the sideline right there, hitting Cole Wilson. Nice return, nice physical tackle by Gabe Powers. So Sawyer Robertson, 23 of 35, 327 yards on the day, 2 touchdowns. He had the 1 interception. This is his 4th straight 300-yard game. Trigg in motion. Reels in another catch. His 8th of the game. McIntosh bangs him out of bounds. And right on cue, right? Get it to your best playmaker on offense, Michael Trigg. Switch release, get him opened up into the flat, get a positive gain on first down. 2 timeouts for the Bears. 1:35 left. Bryson Washington taking tacklers with him. So a 5-yard gain gives Baylor a first down. Yeah, we talked about it, Pete, right? Them being able to run the ball with those 2 timeouts in their pocket. Robertson uncorks one. Blanket coverage by Quay Moss. Late flag. He was looking for Wilson.
Pass interference, defense number 2, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
I think it means number 6, Quay Moss. He was in the slot right there, and I'd love to see this replay because that was close, man. Both of these guys were battling right here. This is good on good. Cole Wilson, Quay Moss. I don't see much right there, Pete. in regards to it being a pass interference. I feel like that left hand came right when the ball was coming down. Tough call to go against Quay Moss right there.
So now Baylor doesn't need much more to get into field goal range. Robertson steps up, escapes trouble. A flag comes down right around the 40-yard line in the area of holding.
Holding, offense number 72, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
And that's tough for Colton Price, right? Because you don't know where the quarterback is behind you. You're just trying to block somebody. And you see it right here. Colton Price right in the middle. He gets called for this holding on Stufflebean. He's just blocking. He doesn't realize that Sawyer Robertson is taking off. You see him get a grab right there at the end. Ref's going to throw that flag every single time.
A backbreaker taking you well out of field goal range. Still plenty of time left. First down and 20 for Baylor. Robertson, the guy you want at the controls. Ashton Hawkins almost pulled it down. McIntosh in coverage.
And he does a nice job holding off the corner. Number 9, Donovan McIntosh. A late flag just came out onto the field as well.
Now, I see palms to the sky from VJ Payne. I'm not saying that he may have said anything, but it came out right where he and the referee were in the same area. Kevin Marr is our referee today.
This will be interesting because this was an extremely late flag. That was a really good defense by Donovan McIntosh. Ashton Hawkins had an opportunity to come down with a big catch for the Baylor offense, but the ball goes through his hands.
Officials still talking it over. Another huge
There is
call.
no foul.
No foul on the play.
Second and 20 right here. If you're Sawyer Robinson, you just want to get half of that back to make it 3rd and 10 or less, right? Would not be surprised they run some more switch or release combination. See Michael Trigg in the slot. Him and Cole Wilson down here towards the bottom of your screen. Would not be surprised they run a switch combination and they get Trigg the ball either on the outside or a quick end breaker.
Baylor field goal kicker Connor Hawkins kicked a 53-yarder against Arizona State in this building. They'd have to get it to the 36 for him to be in that range again. Ashton Hawkins basically does it. Stufflebean with the stop down the field.
Yeah, exactly. You got switch release right there. You take Michael Trigg up the field and you think Ashton Hawkins underneath. Timeout by Baylor.
Timeout, Kansas State. The first of the half, 30 seconds.
So like we mentioned, 53 is the career long. And 3rd and 9 now coming up.
And that's exactly where they're at right now, if I'm not mistaken, right? It would be a 53-yard field goal. So that was actually a nice timeout by Chris Kleiman, the head coach of Kansas State. Say they stop Baylor here on 3rd down and they have to kick this field goal. You want to leave a little bit of time for your offense to go back out on the field. So that's really good clock management by Chris Kleiman, the head coach for Kansas State.
Hawkins has attempted 2 50-plus yarders this year, 1 for 2, and you mentioned it, a miss last week.
Yeah, I believe his only miss of the season was last week, 53-yarder versus UCF. But if you're this Baylor Bears offense, you want to make this a more manageable field goal, right? Look for Spavital, quick routes, something at the sticks, maybe even before that, just so you can get an easier kick for your field goal kicker.
Do you give it to Bryson Washington?
Just knowing the way Spavs thinks, he wants to be aggressive. I don't see this being a run right here. They're going to throw the ball down the field and try to make this an easier kick for their kicker.
Robertson staring into the eyes of the Kansas State defense. Michael Trigg off his left hand. Karam's out of bounds. And the moment of truth could be upon us.
Yeah, right there they try to get him on a speed out. Pressure comes off the outside. Joe Klanderman decides to send that corner that's in the boundary. It forces Sawyer Robertson to throw it before he wants to. Trigg comes out of his break. Ball just too far in front of him.
No wind on a perfect day here in Waco. 53-yarder.
Baylor called timeout there.
Timeout. Baylor. The second of the half. 30 seconds.
So a 30-second timeout. Baylor's second of the half. They have one more left.
Dave Aranda just wants to make sure his kicker isn't rushed, gives him a little bit more time. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say it's all about operation right here, right? Got to get the snap, get the catch down, you're the holder, get the ball out, get the laces out, right? And then just trust your kicker, Connor Hawkins. And if you're Kansas State, right, you want to get your hands up because this is a long kick. It's probably gonna have a low trajectory. You want to get your hands up, get a nice push, and then get your hands up.
And I'm not trying to oversell it, but if you want to make the Big 12 championship and have a shot at the college football playoff, this is it right here.
Yep.
If you're Baylor and if you're Kansas State.
Yeah, these conference games always come down to the wire.
Hawkins, the redshirt freshman from Liberty Hill, Texas. The kick is low. Does it have the distance? It does!
And I talked about it, Pete, a longer kick is going to have a low trajectory. I mean, nails from Connor Hawkins. He drilled that straight through. Again, the ball didn't get that high off the ground, but he had enough leg to get that through the uprights. Now it'll be on the Kansas State offense to see if they can have a drive and put it together to put them in field goal range to potentially try to win this game.
So we talked to Chris Kleiman a little bit. He said as far as Rodriguez is concerned, he can kick up the 55-yarder. This is a 53-yarder right here from Hawkins.
I mean, he powers this through and maybe had 2 yards on it. It barely got over right there at the end. What a kick from Connor Hawkins, drilling that through.
Tempered emotion from Dave Aranda. Nothing new there. Baylor winning a big game at home. That would be new.
Yeah, they've really struggled. And Dave Aranda talked about that, right? He was like, you got to kind of bring some of that road energy because we've been really good on the road. We got to bring that road energy home. You got to win your home games, and they've really struggled. They have 2 losses at home already. So this would be a major win for Baylor at home. But Kansas State gets one more opportunity to win this game in regulation time.
Price and Rice deep for Kansas State. So here comes Avery Johnson. 27 of 41 on the day, 317 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, 72 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. Almost nobody you'd rather have at the controls than Avery Johnson. 2 timeouts left for Kansas State.
Without a doubt, and Baylor's been in this scenario before, right? The Arizona State game. They came back, tied that game up. Sam Levitt was able to put a drive together, and they walk off with a field goal. Let's see if this Baylor Bears defense, who stood up in the red zone last time to hold Kansas State to a field goal, let's see if they can get off the field and win this game on defense.
Just 3 down linemen for Baylor. Johnson with time. Slings it to Brown, incomplete. Kendrick Simpkins was right there.
Nice zone match coverage right there from Kendrick Simpkins. Their slot corner, he does a nice job being physical with Jace Brown out to the top of the route. Jace Brown bobbles the ball, but he punches it away to make sure he doesn't come down with it. And Peter, just like Dave Aranda is comfortable rushing 3 men and dropping 8.
Motion from Oakley. He's got 7 catches today. Brown catches it this time and is slung down at the 41-yard line, but a 16-yard gain prior to that.
I believe Kansas State took one of their timeouts right there.
Timeout. Kansas State, their second of the half. 30-second timeout.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me, I talked about it before the snap. It seems like he's only going to rush 3. He's going to have Kylan Reed, number 45, be a spy. But you can't give Avery Johnson that much time. That's tough on a defensive back when you allow the quarterback to sit back there 4 or 5 seconds. So I wonder if Dave Aranda, because they're getting closer and closer to Luis Rodriguez's field goal range, send some pressure. When you're able to do that last time, you got to pick 6.
21
so
seconds on the game
I
clock.
wouldn't just rush 3 and allow Avery Johnson to survey your defense and pick you apart. I would speed up his clock and send some pressure.
Now remember, Rodriguez hit a 51-yarder at Arizona. That's the longest by a Wildcat in a road game since 2002. And then you got to remember, he made a 48-yarder last week against UCF. And you asked Coach Kleiman the question, what is his range? He said, I'm comfortable with him up to 55 yards.
He has a big leg. He's been one of the best weapons in college football, a guy that arrived July 20th on campus.
Tegan Cobb was injured before the season. Rodriguez took over. Cook out of his reach.
He got handsy at the top of the route.
Rain in from everywhere.
And again, 3-man rush. You allow Avery Johnson to survey your defense. That's tough for a defensive back to cover a guy that long.
Pass interference. Defense number 11. Ball would be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
So initially they say Keaton Thomas, but we'll take another look.
Yeah. I believe this was on Kendrick Simpkins. Yeah, right there. He got a grab with that right hand. I believe the back judge saw that through the flag. The black official saw that. Just got handsy at the top of the route. And again, 3-man rush, just giving Avery Johnson too much time.
Not a bad sell job by Cook either. First
some pressure.
Johnson whips it, little ahead of schedule. Tibbs almost had it.
So right there, they send a 5-man pressure. They drop back in zone, and that's the whole shot right there on the out route by Tibbs that Avery Johnson sails a little bit and almost gets picked off. So right there, again, sending some little pressure has Avery Johnson just a little uneasy. I would love to see David Rand to do that again.
13 seconds left. There is Luis Rodriguez.
14 seconds on the game clock. Play clock to 25.
So we'll go to 14 seconds. Crowd here at McLean Stadium standing. Johnson, running start into that one, hits Cook, and he's knocked to the turf after a first down. 11-yard gain, 38-yard line.
So right now we're looking at about a 55, 56-yard field goal.
Avery Johnson hustles up to the line of scrimmage and spikes it with 5 seconds left. I figure you got enough time for one more running play, and then you call timeout?
5 seconds is close, right? Because what if a guy breaks it, and they're sending the kicker out, which I was surprised they just didn't call timeout. They went and spiked it, but they called timeout. It looks like they're going to go for the field goal kick here because that range, right? You want to be at least 8 seconds on the clock if you're going to try to run another play. 5 seconds, you want to send the field goal kicker out there.
So the field goal kicker, Luis Rodriguez, is out there. 55 yards. That's exactly how long Chris Kleiman said he believed this kid could go. By the way, this young man arrived in Manhattan, Kansas in early July from College of the Canyons after an injury came to the first run kicker, Tegan Cobb.
We got a timeout on the field. Kansas State called their final timeout.
Defensive coordinator Joe Klanderman said Chris Kleiman just connects with people, and every day he tries to have an impact on someone. Can Luis Rodriguez have an impact on him today?
He's had an impact the entire season. He's been nails for them. I thought something that was really interesting. Caden Knighton, the running back, he was on the field goal block team on the edge. They're trying to use some of that speed to come off the edge and potentially get a block from him. Let's see if he goes back out there again, but he was just out there on the field. Looks like they took him off this time, though. And just like that last kick from Connor Hawkins, this is probably going to be low trajectory. So if you're the Baylor Bears, you want to get a push and get your hands up.
Simon McClannon, the punter, set to hold. Luis Rodriguez.
Timeout, Baylor. the final timeout of the half.
So there's the icing timeout, right? Let's get him in his head a little bit.
And honestly, if you're Dave Aranda, I wouldn't even mind if they tried to do a shift here to try to get them maybe to jump off sides on offense and back them up 5 yards. You see a lot of times for the defense, you can use the word move, right? Shift the defensive line real quick, see if they can get the offense to jump off sides.
Five seconds on the clock. And the weight of the world, or at least Manhattan, Kansas, on the shoulders of that young man right there, Luis Rodriguez. Has not missed a kick all season long. Hit a 51-yarder against Arizona. This attempt coming up, 55 yards. Make it 56. Kick is up and it's blocked. Caden Jenkins grabs it.
What I talked about, Pete, right? Low trajectory. Get your hands up. What a block by the Baylor Bears. I believe there's 1 second on the clock still. They're going to have to get everybody off the field. But what
The game is not over. The game is not over.
What a special teams play.
Please put 2 seconds on the game clock. 2 seconds on the game clock. Please.
What a special teams play by Baylor. Again, low trajectory because you're going for a 56-yard field goal. You want to get that push and get your hands up.
Cooper Lands, 6'4", rises to the occasion here literally. Let's take a look.
Nice job. Getting low. You see him right here? And he was actually on the way down when I got hit. That was a very, very low kick. Right there, Luis Rodriguez is trying to power this through this 56-yarder. Nice job by Cooper Lands getting his hands up to block that kick. Elation from Dave Aranda.
An amazing situation here in Waco. Baylor has battled back from down 14 with 8.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They've done it again.
You talked about it, right? The SMU game, they were in the same scenario, and that shows you the mental toughness and fortitude of this team, right? To battle back down 14 in the fourth quarter. They put a couple drives together. The defense comes away with big stops, and then special teams right there getting a crucial block to win the game.
35-34 is the final score here from Waco, Texas. We knew it was going to be hot today. We didn't know it was going to be hot like this.
You talked about it in the intro, right? This is going to be an explosive game, a lot of explosive ability out on the field. But we saw guys on defense making plays as well. And again, the game ended on a special teams play. Conference play, game's always going to come down to the wire.
And the tide turned on an interception for a touchdown by this young man, Jacob Redding, standing by with our own Torrey Petrie.
Jacob, I think we expected to see the offense score a lot here in this game, but what a game for your defense and your special teams. What makes you most proud of your guys today?
I mean, we fought. We were down 14 in the fourth quarter, somewhere we've been before. We knew what we had to do. We knew we had to keep fighting, and we don't give up till the whistle ends. To the last play of the game, we're not giving up. So it's just a testament to what we work on every week and what our coaches tell us and that we believe.
We talked this week about how when you first joined this team as a walk-on, nobody knew your name. Well, they certainly know your name after that pick six. Walk me through what you saw on that play.
Well, I mean, it was isolation, corner blitz, so I knew I had to make a play. I knew they were going to come to me if they saw the corner blitz, and I mean, he made a play. He stepped in front, picked it off, and saw all my guys blocking for me. So.
What were the emotions like on the sideline celebrating that one? We saw you with the Bears suit on. What was it like celebrating that one?
Oh, I was so tired. I was so tired. But I mean, it's your brothers, and they're jumping on you. They're telling you all these things and just congratulating you. Man, it's just like dream come true. All glory to God.
You talked to us this week about how you grew up as a Baylor Bears fan. You watched this team growing up, and now you get to make big plays for them on the field. How did today feel for you?
Man, this is something that I never really thought I would be at. I never really thought I'd be doing this. So for this to be even a possibility, there's a lot of things God had to open up in my life and put me in here in these positions and just to spread his word and spread his gospel. So, I mean, thank the Lord. So,
Coach Aranda said this is a big win because you got to be able to win at home. What does it mean to be able to take home this win on your home turf?
Yeah, we've struggled at home. The emphasis this week was this is our house. You're not going to let somebody walk into your house and take your stuff. So we locked the gates and we said fight to the end.
All right, don't take Baylor's step. Thank you so much, Jacob.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. God bless.
Well, the gates were locked, and there was a hand that reached out over the gates. And let's see it right here.
Cooper Lands does a nice job getting low and then getting his hand up. Right, nice push, gets his hand up, gets that crucial block to get them off the field. I talked about it. It's going to be a low trajectory because you have to muscle this ball through to get it for a 56-yard field goal. What a block by Cooper Lands. And again, elation by Dave Aranda right there.
The unthinkable happening here today. A former walk-on returning a interception for a touchdown. And then the field goal, and then a blocked field goal. We have seen it all today from Waco, Texas. For Leger Duzable and our entire ESPN crew, I am Pete Souza. Final score, Baylor 35, Kansas State 34.